Good evening, gentlemen.
What's happening right now?
Not much, man. Sitting here watching hockey, bored out of my ass.
How we doing, gents? Go Knights.
Yeah, they got 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they need to fucking pull it off because they coughed the shit up last night.
Oh, I bet you were pretty shaken when they watched that empty net. You almost got it.
Anyways, welcome to the MMA space.
Ha 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 ha
Sorry, Dad.
Who gives a shit
ha.
about hockey around here?
Well, it's got fighting, so you got to give it a little bit of prop.
Yeah, it's better than a few of the other ones, but
Oof.
Hey, Detroit's a hockey town, man.
it's called Hockey Town for Christ's sake.
Hey, hockey
So
town.
what's your beef?
He said Detroit's a
Dude,
hockey
how
town.
is it that you grew
The
up
term
in a
hockey town
fucking
comes
city
from
full
the
of
city
major
of Detroit
sports and the only sport you like is fighting?
because I like fighting. What the fuck do you mean, bro?
Boxing was big in Detroit back in those days.
You have a professional football team, a professional basketball team, a professional baseball team. Like you have every major sports team in your city, and you're like, nah, fuck every sport. I like fighting only.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
gives me more time to watch fighting. I enjoy
Well,
boxing,
yeah, well, it's on my old
PFFC.
pass. Yeah, I
I
don't
like
watch a lot of shit I used to watch.
I'm not lying. When there's no fights, like I can't tell you the names of the people. A lot of times the promotions, but man, I watch like karate and grappling and Roman Greco wrestling and collegiate wrestling. Like I don't care what it is. I just
College
watch it.
wrestling's badass.
It can be. It is when two guys really get after it. It is.
Most of them doing college wrestling. This
Yeah,
ain't high
yeah.
school.
It's pretty aggressive, but some of them are,
Especially
thoroughly
like
aggressive.
Division One. Division One's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, because I never even really know what I'm watching, bro. That's probably the difference. I'm probably like, oh shit, this isn't. Oh, that's Division One. I'll mute it. I'll literally mute it, turn the TV on, work on the website, turn some music on, and keep looking up back and forth. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I do got a little fun story of back in the old days of watching college wrestling. It was the first time I seen Bubba Jenkins when he wrestled for Penn State, and he totally like blew out his knee right in the middle of this match, and fucking finished the match and hobbled off of that damn mat. It was so amazing to me that I think he ended up being out for the rest of the season, but I was always a fan of his because of obviously how much of a badass he is. You know, he
I
met
love when
some
I
of the
see
best
guys come
MMA
up on
fighters.
the. I love when I see guys on stuff, smaller circuits or their single combat sports before they mix or merge or whatever you want to call it, and then I recognize them later because whether they're good or bad, or whether you've seen them quit or kind of give up on themselves or wrestle on a broken knee, it kind of makes you feel like you realize who they are a little more than other people. Like, I don't know. It's like if you ever watch Bo Nickel wrestle, you understand once they lock up, Bo Nickel is going to die before he gives up position. Like, he is going to die. Literally, you will have to break his fucking back in half before he is going to lose position if he doesn't want to. Like, it's just it gives you an advantage when you see certain things.
No
So,
doubt about that.
now that Izzy wasn't at UFC 297 in person, anybody think he's still going to be at 300?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought so, but I don't think so now. That's the
Yeah, I mean
truth.
it's
I'm
getting too
very
close.
curious as to what Dana has up his sleeve for the main event. Because I honestly thought it was going to be that BMF title.
So I really think I know what it's going to be, and it's going to come up later here. I really, really think I know what that main event is going to be with all my
Shoot.
heart.
The Rock
Uh, I,
versus.
no, I think it's going to be
Yo,
Tom.
I would take that shit.
I think it's going to be Tom and AP.
You think AP, of course. AP against
Tom and
AP.
AP. No, Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira, however it's said.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really think them dudes got a little heat between them, just enough to make it happen, and it is the biggest fight both of them could possibly make right now.
There's
In my
been talk on him fighting Stipe too, and then there's been talk knocking it off.
I can't see Stipe doing it. Maybe, but
Doesn't make any sense.
no, bro. Like this is prize fighting. I love that people
Does for
love
300 if
the.
they're gonna pay you millions of dollars.
I love that people love the sport of MMA. I love that it's kind of there where people lose track of the fact that this is literally prize fighting, and
Hmm.
like the biggest fight that either one of them could possibly make is each other. So that sells the bag, bro. Get on 300, be the main event. Tom Aspinall is now putting out some social media about it. We'll get to it because I'm going to cover them and that a little more in depth later. But yeah, I just don't think Izzy's going to be there.
Yo, what's good, everyone?
What's happening,
Dude,
Zah?
You
he did say he was going to take some time off, man.
All right.
Think he needs to.
I mean,
So
he said he was going to take some time off, and I think people just assumed he meant like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I think he might be taking like a year and a half off, man. Who knows?
who's that?
Nah, he had a picture of him running. You talking about Izzy, right?
Yeah, dude, no one said he was going to just stop fucking being fit and active, but he said he said he's not going to fight for a while. He's a
He's whack
professional
anyway.
athlete. Of course he's still going to be working out and shit.
He's getting called out by the new champ right now.
I think Izzy wants to go up, and I think Izzy has to do the John Jones thing and take a little time off to actually go up
Well,
and
and
be
I think
effective.
DDP needs a little time to heal. I don't think he's fighting that quick after that.
Yeah, me neither.
That'd be stupid.
So Mikey C now says he doesn't need to lift weights because he's stronger than Conor McGregor. I know, and they went back and forth about it, fucking in depth, like
Who?
Who?
Conor and Michael Chandler.
Oh,
I call him Mikey C. I don't know why. I think it's hysterical. So they're going back and forth because Mikey says he doesn't need to lift weights. He's stronger than Conor. Conor says he's out of his mind and whatever. Like they're
did you
being,
say Mikey C?
yeah.
He,
That sounds like a DJ name at like your middle school
he's got
dance.
a crush. Leave him alone.
He's that old, bro. He's that old.
He's got nicknames for his
I've never heard
crushes.
that nickname before.
Yeah, it's something
He's
Joe
that
does on
old.
the weekend.
So my only thing I want to know is anybody here buying that the fight's happening at 185 in reality if they're fighting? Does anybody here
Fuck
actually?
no.
Me
Fuck
neither.
no.
Hell
How did-
yeah. Connor's juiced.
Bro, I've been saying this fight's not going to happen. I told you, Connor is not fighting again. I've said this for
Oh,
over a year.
I think Connor's
No,
fighting
he's
again,
fighting again.
and I don't think it's Michael Chandler, and I think I know who it is, and I think the whole world is going to be mad
Nate
when it happens.
Diaz?
Nah, you're killing my only few topics I got.
All right,
DDP.
then hold it off.
I
Hold it
mean,
off.
Dustin
All right,
Poirier.
well then fucking
No.
get us yakking or get into an argument or something if you want to waste some time.
So Amanda Nunes says she's open to coming back. That would be, who cares? I mean, like she'll beat people up. Like if finishes will be cool, but like I don't know. Her retirement just seemed,
Yeah.
yeah, it did.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
like she
not
was.
broke.
No. Yeah, and I don't know, whatever. I mean, there's Kayla Harrison, there's Juliana Pena, there's the fact that she could beat the shit out of Raquel Pennington probably off the couch.
Yeah, probably because she wants to make sure that she's the butch of the UFC. Now that a new butch took that belt.
I don't think it's like that. I just think that she knows she could beat the shit out of her
Of
coming off
course.
the couch. Johnny Walker's 3-fight run got broke, but he wants to fight in June. Who the fuck does Johnny Walker fight in June?
I'm gonna
That's,
pull up a list if you're gonna ask questions like that.
I mean, where do you want the rankings?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to.
I'm at capmma.com. There's no need to
What
plug
is
it right
that?
now. Yeah, I'm not plugging it. There's just a few of us here,
Yeah,
but
I don't know these guys.
the headlines or not. We don't want headlines. What do we
Well,
want?
rankings.
Rankings. Let's
We want
UFC
middleweight.
UFC rankings middleweight.
He wants a
So
middleweight fight?
Johnny. Oh no, he's light heavyweight. My
Yeah,
bad.
I was
My
about to
bad.
say.
Johnny is number 7. Above him, I think he's got a hell fight down. Has he fought? He hasn't fought Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah,
Why
Roundtree
can't
is
Khalil
open.
swing? I think.
I think Roundtree would fucking kill him too.
Yo, Rontree's doing good right now. I would like that fight. That would be a good one.
Yeah, I like Roundtree quite a bit. I have for quite a while, so I'd be happy to see him get that one.
I mean, anybody else
Okay.
would probably be further behind. You know, like
What else is?
Ozdemir or something like that. You know, Ryan Spann. I mean, if you really want somebody to fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys down there he can fight, but Khalil's right under him and needs a fight. And we've talked about how it's going to be hard for Khalil to get anybody above
Yeah.
him. So Khalil might take that fight just because if he finishes Johnny, they might just bump him up 2 or 3
What
spots.
if
If it's,
Roundtree ends up getting a freaking, Jamal Hill fight?
Dude, I keep thinking they're gonna give Khalil to Nikita Krylov.
I think that he kills Nikita Krylov at this point.
Right, but I think they make that matchup.
I thought Nikita was I thought we discussed that he was talking about another fight.
With who?
I can't remember now because it was like 3 weeks ago. But I guess if it was happening, we would know it by now. So
Bro, Volkan Ozdemir is ranked top 10.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Light
Wow.
heavyweight and heavyweight are
Oof.
yeah. They're-
Oof.
yeah, light heavyweight is not far behind heavyweight. Light heavyweight is not what it used to be.
Fucking
Oh,
John.
it's always
It's
been
all
kind
his
of,
fault.
well, even back then, John was just a young
No, there
guy.
was a
He
time
was
where it
beating a
was
lot of just the
Rashad.
old school guys. John was made
Yeah, but
for it.
yeah, he
It was
was.
always but it was always a shit division. That's the hard thing about MMA, man. That our heavyweight division so difficult because we got to compete with shit like football. Like, who wants to become a fighter when you can make tons of money out
Yeah,
here in
but
football?
what we're saying right now is light heavyweight is the same as heavyweight if you look
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
bro. Like it's not much it's not far
It's
off.
just the big guys.
And the truth is that like they say the tightest competition is 155, but the greatest division in the history of the UFC is 205. Like
Yeah.
it's got the longest list of Hall of Famers.
They need to start
Part
another weight class or some shit.
Yeah, they need 165, 175, 185, skip it, go 205. Um, but Dana White will not allow that to happen. It's already been sanctioned. The referees, command has already done it. Everybody has accepted it. Dana White will have no part of it. And Big John says that's why nobody else does it because fighters will not train for it because you can't get in the UFC at 175. You can't get in the UFC at 165. So
Mm-hmm.
fighters won't do it. Chimaev tweets, "See you soon," after every fucking title fight. And somebody had every one of his tweets quoted, and I wish I could remember who it was so that I could credit them. But,
He's gonna smash
uh,
everyone.
bro, he does say it to every champion after every title fight, and then he doesn't fight.
But I smash everyone.
7-8 smoke, right? Zah, go ahead, bro.
Yo, quick question. Did you see that interview he had recently where he talks about how like Dana promised him.
It's literally my next sentence here. Chimaev, in an interview with ESPN, said he was promised a title shot at 300 for taking the Usman fight, and he thinks it's bullshit if Dana doesn't follow through with it. So, I mean, he probably was promised a title shot for taking that Usman fight. To be honest, he probably was. It just doesn't make sense to give him the 185-pound title shot right now. Like, he hasn't beat any of them top 3-4 guys, and them
Bro,
guys have something working right now. Them guys have people want to see them guys fight each other right now. 185 hasn't really seen more than Izzy was the star, Rob was kind of a star, but now up there you've got a few people. They want to see Izzy and DDP. Sean and DDP are already getting into it really heavy on social media, so that's going to keep heating up. Sean and Izzy running it back, people would like to see. Who's the other? I know.
Whitaker?
Yeah, Whitaker. Everybody will tune in for Whitaker, but it's Whitaker's down run. I'm not being mean. It's not like Whitaker's going to come back and swing for the fences or anything. Paulo Costa's number 6, and I know that we're like, fuck Paulo. He pulls out of every fight, but Paulo's got a big following and people like him. Brendan Allen's coming up.
people like him?
Yeah, Paulo Costa. I mean, when you have that many
Why?
followers on social media, bro,
He drinks
people have to
special
like you.
juice.
People have to like you when you have that many followers. There's just no way around it.
He's the best looking UFC fighter.
No
Fucking Ricky
kidding, dude.
Ricardo, bro. What do you mean? Yeah, that's
Probably
what
the
I'm
only,
saying.
probably your mom's favorite fighter.
Fuck yeah, and your aunts and your grandmothers too. Get the
See,
fuck out of here. They
you
all
guys
clap
keep
if you lost.
confusing me though because you keep saying fighter. You have to fight to be a fighter.
Um, all I'm saying, all I'm getting at is I know Chimaev is number 9, but they don't need him at middleweight. If he would drop down to welterweight, he's needed, bro. That's a division where there's a lot of guys on their way out, and the dudes in the middle that are kind of like ranked between 6 and 12, 13. It's iffy whether or not they would be there if the competition was any steeper. So, like, I don't know. I just don't think he has a big place at 185. At 170, I feel like he has a huge spot. Like, it's
He
right
could do.
there for you.
Sorry to cut you off, but he could do both. Like I remember when he first joined the UFC, he had like 3 fights in like first couple months. It felt like, or like the first year. Like, why
Yeah,
isn't he
but
doing
I
that?
think his road there would be do 170 first. It's clear you can go right into that title shot. He could probably kick Bilal out of the title shot and just take the shot if he was ready to fight at 170, in my opinion. But at 185, he doesn't got that juice. Connor J.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if Dana like said he promised the shot to him, that's kind of ridiculous. Especially like after an Usman win, after a week's notice. But like all Hamza has to do is just beat somebody in the top 10, top 5, and they would be like more than willing to give it to him. Or at least the case would be a lot stronger. Like have him fight Sean, have him fight Izzy, have him fight Jared when he's ready, or Marvin or anybody. Like just giving it to him like with really 0 middleweight wins is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I'd love to see him fight Jared. Um, I'd love to see him fight Jared. I think that'd be a banger fight, but I don't think
I do
Jared
too.
should have to
That'd be a
fight
good one.
now. I don't
I
think
don't think so
Jared should
either.
have to fight
But
number
Jared's
9.
injured.
And when he
Jared's
comes
injured right
back,
now.
when he's ready, I don't think he should have to fight number 9. I just don't.
Joe, let's
Zah,
go. Let's go, baby.
Go ahead.
He can't fight over Bilal because I just seen another video of Bilal crying his ass off for this title shot, saying that he has a date, he just waiting, and like, yeah, it's just mad funny.
Yeah, I
Good for
know.
Bilal.
Yeah, I hope he gets it. I got no issue with Bilal. I do hope he gets it. I'm just saying that I think Chimaev would have the juice to come in and get that title shot. I just think it's there for him. All right, so we'll lap that out. That's 20 minutes of hot topics. Quick plug, capmma.com. We do spaces Friday nights, Sunday nights, Tuesday nights. Cage Side Press, good friends of ours. Check out their site too. Tatiana Suarez has The Unbreakable Tatiana Suarez coming out on HBO. I believe January 31st. We're not affiliated with it at all. I just really like Tatiana Suarez, so I put that in the hot topics and figured I'd plug it for her. Also, I don't know where Usman is, but I'm about to drop an edit for her tough fights. He's gonna be mad. He's gonna be pissed about it. It's gonna shit on some of his stuff. Not really, but you know how I'm gonna talk it up. All right, so let's do a little movement in the rankings, and in turn, a little bit of card review. We don't got to do like a full fight by fight by fight. If there's anything particular anybody wants to bring up, throw your hand up. You can lead that topic. I'm going to start with DDP went up 2 spots, became the champion. Sean Strickland is down to number 1. Israel is down to number 2. So, couple things on those two guys, real quick. Here's something that I guess, like, do you guys consider Sean Strickland a big star? Really, genuinely, like, you're not right or wrong. Do you guys consider him a big star?
I think he's on his way. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on his way to being a big star. I wouldn't say that he is,
What do you,
the go-to guy, the new Conor McGregor. No way.
Connor J?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably like star, like relative to like other MMA fighters. He's probably one of the more popular, especially among the hardcore fans. But like in terms of like Brock, Connor, Ronda, like no, nowhere near that. But like those guys are sort of in their own category. But among like the Sean O'Malley's, I think he's probably among that range.
I think he's a bigger star than Sean O'Malley.
Me too.
Um,
I
maybe
agree with
not
that.
in the total of like social media and everything. Um, but in the MMA realm, specifically, I think he's a bigger star. So
They
the
have
reason I bring
completely
it up,
different followings, though, Joe.
yeah, but the reason I bring it up is so Twitter, Super Sport, that's the name of the page, Super Sport. I believe it's a South African outlet. Posted some footage of fans in South Africa reacting to DDP winning. Couple hundred people. Looks like they were packed at like an outdoor bar. And everybody went crazy. Not surprising that they can find even a big bar in a country where someone is from and see them celebrating. But it does show that he has some star power, right? People do care and they do want to see him. Sean Strickland, however, some footage. I don't know who put it out. I would like to credit them. I know it was a Canadian outlet. If I can recall, I believe the name of their outlet is Exile, Xile. Um, I believe it's a Twitter account. They released some footage of Sean Strickland arriving to the UFC location in Canada. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember this, but it was like a fucking Michael Jackson concert, dude. People were jumping up and down. It was grown men with beards and shit, 6 foot tall, fucking jumping up and down like schoolgirls. After he walked, they were jumping up and down celebrating. He was mobbed by people. Like, it was, you could see on his face, he had no idea this was coming. And it had to be a couple hundred people waiting out there for him just to show up at the arena. Like, I've been to a lot of fights. I've never seen anybody gather anywhere to wait for fighters to walk in. Like, I've never seen that happen. Like, I've been to Conor McGregor fights. I've been to some big cards, and I've never seen that. So like, I was just really surprised at that. Zah, you put your hand up right away. Go ahead.
Um, yeah, I did see that video that you were just mentioning right now. That shit was kind of dope. Um, two things quick about the fight. I tried telling you guys that DDP was gonna win that Drakus at plus money too before it went even. And then second is Sal Diamato. What the fuck is wrong with his eyes? Like, what's he watching?
Perfect judge, bro. I say this every space. Don't
Okay,
make
how
me
did he
argue.
lose the third round then, Zah? Let's hear it.
So here's what I'll
He
say.
I don't.
headbutts him in the eye, and that wins you the round when you got struck more in the face.
So
No,
here's what I'll say real quick. I scored it 4-1 for Sean, and
Why
after
did you do that?
everybody was going crazy, I'm like, damn, I can't be tripping. Ran it back. I'm like, nah, bro, he won it 4-1. He lost the fourth. That's what he lost. Sean looked, or DDP looked good in the second, but just good compared to how he looked in the first. Not better than Sean. And I thought I was on an island, but Anthony Smith said he scored it 4-1. Dana said he had it for Sean. Israel said he had it for Sean. Easy. I don't know, man. That's just how I had it. I had it 4-1 Sean. I didn't. The headbutt happened in round 3, split the eye, even unintentional. I'm not
barely.
mad.
It was a bear scrape, and I wait. So how? I don't know. I had it the opposite way. Honestly, I had Drakus up every round because, like, I get it. Sean had good jabs, but Drakus easily took him down 6 times out of how many times? And then
Ooh, did
plus
he touch
plus
his butt too? I
maybe
mean, he didn't do anything with those damn takedowns.
no,
What'd
but
he
a
do?
takedown's a takedown. That's a major
Yeah, but in
point.
the
Exactly. He did
rules,
what?
in the judging criteria, a takedown is considered just a change of position if there's nothing dominant that happens during that.
Then it's a tiebreaker.
Yeah, and the truth is, he got 6 takedowns of 11, right? And 3 of them happened in the third, 2 in the first. Nobody's even arguing that Sean still won the first. No one's. I haven't heard anybody giving Drakus the first, even though he got 2
I
of them.
argue. I argue that.
And then
Yo,
Drakus.
the striking was like even, and then like Drakus went for those 2 takedowns right there, bang bang.
So you're
Those
telling me 6 takedowns that total 1 minute and 58 seconds of control time should win a fight?
no, I'm not saying that, but
But
he
that's
he didn't even try to like take him down like he really wanted to because on the press conference he agreed like, yo, let's have the dance. No takedown. We're gonna stand up and bang for our lives. So like he didn't even try takedowns. I don't think.
Connor.
Yeah, I initially scored it 3-2 DDP, but like after like analyzing it with like the stats and then just like further reviewing the fight, I can definitely see like there was even an argument for Sean when I was watching it, but even after I might even just lean towards Sean winning the fight. Uh, it was just like super close. I don't 4-1 is kind of extreme to me in my opinion, but either way, like is a like Sean or DDP winning, I can see, but I'm actually kind of leaning towards Sean.
So live, I felt like the way I felt was he won 1 and 2. 2 was really close. I wouldn't have been mad if the judges gave it to DDP, I guess, but I felt at the time watching it live and in the replay, I still felt like it was Sean. So I can't even say I wouldn't be mad. Like I just felt like he got 1 and 2 easy. 3, he started bleeding. I thought he had a better round 3, but I knew the blood was going to sway the judges for sure. I'm like, okay, they're going to give him round 3 because of the blood. They're going to do it. Round 4, DDP looked good. He won it. No question to me. Not close. Round 5, Sean beat the brakes off of him, in my opinion. So I guess based on round 2 was close. The blood in 3 and the pace in 4, like I'm trying to be fair and not just be a mark about it, but I scored it watching it twice. Sean 4-1. That's how I had it.
What?
Andrew, go ahead.
All right, so here's the thing. You guys can sit here and argue round for round. I don't really care. Um, here's the thing. The media was completely split. If you look at the judges' scorecards, 4 out of 5 rounds, all 3 judges agreed on. So that means there was one round with discrepancy. It was a 48-47 across the scoreboard. That tells me it's a close fight. If you scored it for Sean, I can completely see it. If you scored it for Dricus, I can completely see it. I feel like either one could have gotten the decision. But I swear to God, if anybody cries robbery, I'm going to kick you out of this space because people don't know what
Robbery.
a fucking
I'm just kidding.
robbery is. A robbery is when someone calls a fight like this a robbery, that tells me either you lost money or you were being a fan because you were being emotional. There is no such thing as a robbery in a very close fight.
Yeah, but what
Well,
what
it was
about a
split
guy like me
decision.
who
It was
watches
split
it
decision.
twice,
Say it that way.
and thinks it was 4-1?
No,
Ah,
there's no way. Sean was on
But
his
that's
back
why it was
foot
a
the
split
whole
decision.
fight. What was that?
The whole fight for 1 minute and 58 seconds ain't the whole 25 minutes
no,
No.
either.
he's saying he was on his back foot. You can walk backwards and beat the shit out of somebody, bro. I've watched Floyd Mayweather win 20 fights that way. So, like, you know,
He
He
still
didn't get
landed
hit
more
though.
strikes.
yeah, I mean, Sean was hitting him, though. Connor, go ahead. Then I'm going to close this fight out.
Joe, were like how close were the rounds though that you gave Sean? Like I know some of them probably stood out more than others, but like were most of the rounds close?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so what I really felt like is he really, really won 1, 3, and 5. But I knew with the blood in 3, there was no way the judges were giving it to him. Like that was my biggest problem. I do think round 2 was close, and if you gave it to Drakus, no problem, bro, no problem at all. In round 4, Drakus won. Like he won, but Sean
How did he win?
won in no question in my mind. Sean won rounds 1, 3, and 5, and
What?
yeah, he did. Go
That's like
watch it, bro. Go watch the fight
Nah,
again.
I
Go
can't.
actually
I
watch it
can't.
again.
I
that's
can't.
fine. I just feel like even like in close fights, or even if you have it 4-1, usually a 4-1 fight is like pretty clear. But like on paper, it looks like oh this guy won handily. But if you actually watch the fights, which I know you do. I'm not saying you didn't, but like somebody could say 4-1, this guy won clear. But if you watch the rounds, all those rounds could be close, and you edge it to Sean for those rounds. So it's still a close fight. You know what I'm saying? I agree with
Dude
Oh, it
Andrew.
got
was a
Either way,
split.
it's
he got
close.
I mean,
zero
it was a split.
takedowns though. This is not a boxing match. This is mixed martial arts. So you
Yeah,
gotta.
but
Oh,
in
you
20,
gotta get a
yeah, but Zod,
takedown.
in
That took on.
25 minutes though, if you only have like not even 2 minutes of control time, like the takedowns, what you do with them has to matter.
No,
Yeah, what Drakus actually did to me, for me, was prove that he can't take Sean down. Just because he can
he
wrestle him to the
slammed him
back,
on his ass. What do you mean? He can't take him down.
he can't
He
keep him
can't.
there,
He
Yeah, I
bro.
couldn't
mean, it was a
hold him
fact.
down. He
Yeah,
couldn't
he
hold
couldn't
him
hold him.
down.
He didn't
He could
try.
take him down, but he couldn't hold him down.
But
Yeah, he did nothing with his takedowns. There was no danger ever to Sean in that fight with the takedowns. That's a hard
so
part to say. Is it was an even round, and that's how you split it.
so if a guy picks you up and puts you on your ass,
Yeah,
and
after we were just punching at each other, yeah, you can
that
get caught off guard a bunch of times. You still
but
got to
that
do
doesn't mean
something with it.
anything to you though. That doesn't mean anything if he just
It
puts
means
you
it's
on
a
your ass.
It's a
tiebreaker if
change
I
of
never punched
position.
you. But if I punch you 20 times and you punch me 10, but you took me down, I don't look at that as a tiebreaker unless you actually did something with that takedown. You got me
Well,
in side control, you put me in full mount, and then I get up. Well, yeah, you did way more into finishing that fight than I did.
it's like when a fighter sits on another fighter's back and the guy on the back is literally hugging him, and the person in the hug just starts punching him in the face repeatedly. Bro, the dude punching him in the face is winning. not the guy holding the back. Like, just because it's a takedown, just because you're on his back, to me, does not mean you're winning the fight. Yeah, Vinny, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up tonight, guys? Hey, my question was, I know you're talking about takedowns, which Strickland didn't even have one against two places. And my other thing was, when he was on top of him, I mean, he got up pretty quick, but at the same time, he kept on bringing him down, bringing him down. And from what I heard on what the broadcaster was saying, that they don't have nobody had done that to Strickland before. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, why do people keep thinking that Strickland won the fight? I don't know, but anyway, that's my take.
Because you can't explain why he
All
loses
right,
the
I'm
third
gonna
round
listen.
because of a headbutt to the fucking eye.
We're only
That's
gonna
why.
look at this card for about another 5 or 8 minutes, so I'm just gonna cap it. We're never going to agree on it. We can all agree on that and put up the 100s that we are not gonna fucking agree on this one. So what else do we have here? The Raquel Pennington fight, in my opinion, was, I mean,
Snooze
disappointing.
fest. Snooze
Yeah,
fest.
it was disappointing. Mike Mallet, if you took Magny, good for you. Mike shot his load and whatever. Um, yeah,
He's a
I'm not gonna
bitch.
do. I'm not gonna talk about any of them 5 decisions except for the Charles Woodson one because, or Sean Woodson, Charles Jourdain. I say Charles
Don't
Woodson all the time
don't talk
because I'm
about
from.
Canadians, man. They just fucking prove my point. Fucking Canadians.
And you know what Vinny did? He broke his own
I
rule.
did.
And you know what? We've been talking about this. When your rule makes you money, stop breaking it. Stop breaking it because you lost one time and lost your ass. Stop breaking it because you it didn't work twice in 8 times, but it worked 6 out of fucking 8 times. Stop breaking it. There's always gonna be the exception, right? Jasmine Jazz Decay or Jazz Devicius.
Yep.
Don't fade that bitch. Do not fade her.
Nope.
She's gonna fuck some people up for a minute. Do not fade her. I'm telling you, just skip her.
I
Other than
think
that, follow the rule, bro. You just look for your exceptions. Stop breaking the rules. So
well, my exception from now on, all Canadian women's are okay with me, but all Canadian men, fuck them. I'm fading them.
Me
Yeah.
too. I need
uh
to do the rule of stay away from Neil Magny because every time
so
I bet for that fucker to win, he loses. Every time I bet him to fricking get his ass kicked, he fucking
so
wins.
write a rule in your book. Skip Neil Magny. Circle that shit and skip him when you bet, bro.
Dude, it's
Like,
not even skipping Neil Magny. It's you don't bet a fucking dude at minus 360 when he's not worth minus 360. That one was easy.
that's on the nose,
I
right?
was in the rounds. It was
Don,
inside the distance and stuff like that.
So
gatekeeping
Jillian
Neil
Roberts.
Magny.
Hey, you know which one's the one that paid? Fucking JJ submission and KO on Robertson. That shit paid 160 to 1. $25 got you $4,000. Oh my god, I was so pissed.
That's yeah, but you know what? So I had Flick, Jasmine, and Jillian all pinned for subs, and I was so confident on it. Like I would have screamed it to the rooftops when Jillian got the KO. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Um, but Flick, Jasmine, and Jillian, like I said it in the pre-tape. I said it in the like. That's all I said. Like them dudes were. Yeah, I'll say dudes, whatever. I'm not sexist. Them dudes was all locks for subs.
Wait,
Man,
quick question.
yeah.
Did you think Allen, the Allen versus Evolve fight was the snooze fest?
So we're not
Yeah.
going to talk about those 5 decisions except for the Sean Woodson one and the Charles Jourdain because the announcement was funny. I'm not talking about them fights. That card kind of took a dive for a minute. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. Like, there was a point where I felt like Raquel and Myra were getting after it for a minute, but the fight sucked. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I'm looking
I
at
didn't,
the list.
I didn't
So
think
the
Myra was
Brad
gonna
Katana,
suck.
you know what? The Garrett Armfield Brad Katana fight.
Oh my god.
I liked that one. If I'm
Fucker,
being
yeah,
honest.
it killed my damn parlay. I didn't like that part.
Fucking Brad Katana, another fucking bitch.
Sean,
Yeah, no shit.
Connor's got his hand up, and then we're kind of stalling here, so we're gonna get off this card. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Arnold and Evloev fight. I didn't think it was like too bad, but Dana at the presser said it was like the worst fight he's ever seen. When there was a fight that was far worse in the co-main event that had two other additional rounds to it. So I don't know. He was kind of tripping about that.
Yeah, I was live for Ngannou Lewis, so he can kiss my ass.
Man, that was pretty damn boring.
That
Like
was,
everybody fell asleep in their living room during that fight.
bro.
Wait, what's that Sydney guy versus I forget the other Tavares? Yo, that should have been fight of the night for me. It
Yeah,
was.
them dudes were banging. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
They were banging.
yeah. I said that on Sunday.
Was that
Um,
was that a rob? I mean, did they rob us on that Tavares? I mean, I didn't think he won. I thought Sydney
I
won.
thought it was gonna be at least a split decision.
I thought he won clear.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely won the
No.
third round. I mean, Brad Katana won the third round, but the first two were pretty close. I was surprised that they all gave them to him, but I thought it was at least going to be a split decision for either side. So, I mean, even the fucking Artfield, he was surprised when they called him the victor. You know,
so I don't know who else at 170 has a fight, but Kevin Holland just dropped to 13 in the ranking. Neil Magny went up one. MVP's not even going to make the top 15 by the time that fight goes down, man. What the fuck? All right. So pound for pound, they shot Alex Pantoja up to 9, Israel to 10, Sean to 11, Aljo to 12, Aspinall to 13, Max to 14. Um, they moved around to Poria, which doesn't make much sense. I mean, I know he's got the title fight coming on, but he went up 2 to number 3. Evolov went up 4 to number 5. Everybody in the way dropped 1 except for Allen, who dropped 2 to 6. From there, Sean Strick, we talked about the middleweight division, so I'm going to skip it. And then they ranked all the women up at 125. So someone got removed from the rankings. I believe it is
It was Carla
Lauren.
Esparza.
Oh, yeah, it is Carla Esparza. Why did she officially retire?
I heard she
No,
got
she was
like removed.
pregnant,
I seen
or
her
she
get
just had a
removed
kid.
on Fighters Watch. Oh, she did.
Well, she was like, I think after her fight with Wei Lee, I think she said that she was gonna like have a child, and I saw her like training on Instagram, and I think she already had her kid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's not
So
here.
she's probably just due to inactivity.
She's not here, and Jillian Roberts came in. So that is that. Okay, so that's all there is for the rankings. Card review. We're done. Usman and Rhino do a good in-depth card review. Lines that you missed, bets that they made on Sunday night. They're really shaping that space up. So if any of you guys want to hear like in-depth bet talk, bets you might miss, just talking about things that hit and how did we miss them, why did we miss them, shit like that. It's becoming a really good space. I'm actually enjoying listening. I don't partake too much, mostly because I actually enjoy listening to it. So, all right. From there, I turn it over to Andrew. He's got fight announcements. Let me lap this out. There's no time limit. We're not even going to make time tonight, I'm sure. There's just not a lot going on in the MMA world. But Andrew, go ahead with fight announcements if you're ready, Bubba.
Yeah, we got a few fight announcements. I'm going to be honest, a lot of them, they are not really worthy of talking about. So We're probably going to breeze through a lot of these. If you have your heart dead set on one of these fights and you want to make a comment, put your hand up and we'll go about it. But yeah, a lot of these are oof. These are card fillers. But the first one's not too bad.
Name
Lerone
the
Murphy is.
divisions if you can.
What was that?
Name the divisions if you can.
I didn't write them down, but I can get most of them.
All right.
Lerone Murphy's out, so Dan Ige will now face Andre Feely. They are obviously
I know that
featherweights.
is.
That's a good fight.
Yeah, that'll be UFC Vegas 86 on February 10th.
That is a good fight, though, bro.
Yeah, man, I think that.
EK just fought too, didn't
But this one will most likely be on the feet for majority of the fight, and so this should be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I thought they both just fought recently within the
he?
last
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Andre Feely fought within the last like three,
It was
maybe
on
four.
the. I think it was on the Leon and Colby card.
Well, EK lost to Royce Mitchell. That was in September. So it actually been a decent amount of time. Dan
Yeah,
Ige is going to be all healed up and ready to go.
You'll see a lot of guys jumping on cards this late. And I say late because third quarter or first quarter is filling up, and a lot of these guys are looking at, it's beginning of the year, and they're really hoping to get 3 fights. They're entitled to that by contract. Yeah,
Yeah,
I said entitled
Feely's
because
last fight was in December,
yeah, and I say
the
entitled
16th.
because their contract does entitle them to that. So they're entitled to 3 if they can do it. So you're going to see a lot of guys filling up these cards that like fights just like this that are really good fights that just not headlines that are like, oh man, what a killer, headline. But you'll see a lot of these fights pop up. So I think that's a really good one, to be honest.
we've got a couple fight announcements for UFC 298, February 17th. That'll be in Anaheim, California. Brady Highstand is out. So Rinya Nakamura will now be taken on Carlos Vera. And as far as I know, that's at 135. Ikram Alaskarov is out of his fight with Fluffy Hernandez at UFC 298. So Fluffy is now going to be taking on Roman Kopylov. I don't like this matchmaking at all, but I mean, I get it. It's a last minute replacement fight. But yeah, this is striker versus grappler. Hate
Was
these matches.
Kopylov, uh, was he booked to fight anybody else?
I don't think so.
Huh. All right.
But Ikram pulled out. So
Yeah, isn't that his second time in the since he's been in the UFC? Isn't that the second time he's done that?
I want to say so.
Well, maybe look into that. I think the dude's got a lot of talent, but I don't like guys that cancel fights.
I agree. We're going to move on to UFC Vegas 87, March 2nd. Julia Pilastri is making her debut, and she's going to be taking on Josephine Knudsen, who I believe is from the Contender Series. Yay. We're going to move to UFC Vegas 88. 2 weeks later, March 16th, Kazama is out of his fight against Shiralampos Gregorio. So he's now going to take on Chad on Helliger. Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
not. I mean, whatever. I think that the broadcast does it that way. Maybe she does pronounce it that way, but there's actually a business around here, same last name, and it is not Knutson. It is just Knutson um, in pronunciation. So,
Listen, bro, the day that you, of all people, correct
No
me on
shit.
pronouncing something,
really,
I'm just
so
fucking with you, Joe.
so could you tell me how it spells?
You could very well be right. You could
Could you
very
tell me
well be
how it
right.
spells?
So
Yeah,
how does it
it's
say it?
it's the
Knudsen?
it's the KN at the
It's
beginning.
it's
So when
kebabs.
when you
It's
spell the
kebabs.
word when you
Kebabs.
spell the
They
word
say kebabs.
know like you know or knew like you knew, and there's a K and an N. What sound does that make? Is
Are
it a
you comparing
canoe?
two different languages, Joe?
The English language is pulled from most of our language is pulled from other languages. So yeah, I will. Uh,
It's
yeah,
it's
I
pulled
will.
for the Dutch.
No problem.
That's funny. Um,
So how do you say it? Knudsen?
So there's
Who
a
gives a
Knutson
fuckson?
Brothers. There
Who
is a
gives a
Knutson
fuckson?
Brothers
All
collision
right.
here in Michigan. It's a Knutson Brothers. It's
Knudsen.
not
All right.
Knutson. I've known him for 20 something years. It is Knutson.
Knudsen. All right, got it.
we good?
No, I think he's going to tell us the history of the last name, where their fucking great
I'm waiting for
grandfathers were
Andrew
born.
to start fucking talking now.
All right, Pilastri and Knutson. Next fight.
It's Knudsen.
Josie
Like a nut.
Josiane Nunez is going to be taking on Chelsea Chandler. Josiane Nunez is tiny as hell, and Chelsea Chandler, last time I saw her,
Maybe she won't
she
have to
turned
run.
around and ran for the fucking cage.
They said, all right, Chelsea, listen. She's really small.
Oh man. It's crazy too because Nunez usually fights at like 145 or 135. Fucking tiny. Uh,
Oh, man. Them trying to sell a fight. All right, I'm done.
Next we got D Baby's favorite fighter, Joshua Kulabau. He's gonna be taking on Danny Silva.
That'll be a good fight. Like,
Yeah, it might be all right.
fun to watch.
We have one of Usman's favorite fighters, Pani Kianzad. She's gonna be taking on Macy Chiasson. All right. And then let me see. Two more for this card. We have our space favorite, Mike Davis, returning after a big layoff. And he's going to be taking on Natan Levy.
Andrew, did you guys hear the news?
What is
What?
it?
No, we're in a space,
Kayla
fool.
Harrison to fight Holly Holm at UFC 300 per Dana White.
Shut the fuck up.
Who told you motherfuckers for the past 6 months? I swear to God, it is on my fucking chart that Kayla Harrison to bring her up for 300 tonight. I fucking knew it.
You didn't say that.
I didn't
I
say
don't
Holly
know.
Holm. Bro, are you gonna make me go pull up spaces to say that I've said Kayla Harris would be on 300 in more than one space?
No, you did say that. I remember.
Wow, dude. No. Now we got to talk about this because this
That's
is all that fucking
insane.
matters. This is all that matters. I don't even use this word. And Usman uses it religiously. Bro, you got the GOAT coming to the UFC, bro. Let's fucking go, man.
Hey, I'm just letting you know. Holly Holm might whoop her ass.
Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, Holly Holm might put it to her. Let's be honest about that, son.
No chance.
Holly Holm got takedown defense, and she ain't out striking Holly.
She
She'll,
doesn't have takedown defense against Kayla Harrison.
we're gonna find out because
Nah,
they said
we
that about.
definitely
Definitely
will be
will.
one
She's pretty
if
long and
Holly Holm
lengthy.
spoils it and beats Kayla Harrison. That would be
Biggest
hilarious.
thing is age.
And now that leaves Chris Cyborg in limbo because Chris was talking about how Kayla wouldn't accept the fight against her in the PFL. Well, obviously
Right.
there was reasons to it because she had other plans in the works.
Hey, I'm gonna go get
I thought
Cyborg's
she just
post.
signed a big fucking topic or a big contract with them, though.
No, I've been telling you guys that she timed out. I've brought this up like 3 fucking times, guys. She timed her contract out. She said it on air. She said it after her fight that she would not be able to fight again in contract due to time restraints. So she was done. That
Hmm.
was it. Yeah, I absolutely knew she was going. Everybody threw their hand up quick. I don't know who was who. Daniel, we ain't heard from you tonight. Welcome. Go ahead, bud.
Thank you, Judge. Okay. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Let's
First of
go.
all, Kayla Harrison ain't no Ronda Rousey. Kayla Harrison's always been bigger and stronger. Holly Helm is not having an easy night. She's not knocking around the second round like she did the Ronda Rousey. Kayla will pressure her. She will smother her and then slam her with the takedown and go for a submission. She'll do what Ronda Rousey failed to do as a judoka. You know me, I got ATT all the way. Kayla Harrison is subbing her.
Hey, Daniel, who's your plug?
Who's my plug?
Yeah, I want some of what you're smoking.
No, I just haven't had dinner yet. But that
YB, I ain't heard from you yet tonight. Go ahead.
Bro, that is the shittiest fight I could imagine for being UFC 300 headliner. I can't believe that.
Hey, you watch
That
your
is
mouth, man.
insane, bro. Nobody wants to see a 70-year-old Holly Holm go against a nobody PFL woman.
hey
In
man, that's a
that
mother
she
there. She
fights
has
fucking
kids.
soccer moms, bro. That
Bro,
sucks.
you're about to get
Like,
muted
as
real
far as
quick,
a
bro.
fan,
Dude, Kayla
that's
Harrison's a
crazy,
proud
bro.
mom. You take
I
that
was
back.
expecting, AP, Tom Aspinall, Izzy Drickish, something like that. I can't believe it. Like, it'll be a great fight. No disrespect to the women, but just that's crazy. I couldn't expect that.
Hey, there's another announcement. Did you guys hear about that one? Alonso Manifield against Carlos Zolberg.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah, we haven't
fight.
gotten to that yet.
All right, go ahead. Let Andrew get back on track here, and then
My
we'll
fault.
Bro, I'm all fucking hyped up now,
Wait a
bro.
second.
That
I don't
tops
think
anything I got.
it's not the headliner though, YB. I don't think so. They didn't say that.
It's
Bro,
okay to
that's my
cry.
girl, man.
If
I
that's
love Kayla
headliner, that
Harrison.
sucks. If not, cool. Let's do it.
No, Dana actually said in the post fight press conference after 297 that he would be announcing the main event this week. So that card's actually not finished. There's still a main event to be answered, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Dricus and Izzy, but who knows?
Well, now I feel like an asshole. I thought you were saying it was headliner.
Nah, let Kayla headline that bitch. Let's go.
Hell no.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna move
cannot
on.
imagine if they'd have made that the headline.
So
Are
I
you
was
kidding
gonna
me?
be petty. I was gonna be petty and start putting all the tweets in the last 6 months of me saying that Kayla was going to the UFC in the comments, but I won't be.
Yeah, we'll
There's a
see him
few.
tomorrow. We got it. Next
Yeah,
fight.
you will see them tomorrow. I just want you all to know.
So I did announce Natan Levy, Mike Davis. Mike Davis is our guy, though. We have interviewed him before. He is mad cool, and he is making his return, and I am excited for it. Gerald Mearshart is going to be taking on Brian Barberina. I feel like that's actually no, that fight, no, bad stylistic matchup again. I feel like this is easy.
I hope. Yeah.
This is the traditional GM3 by sub.
If he can survive the first like 4.3 minutes with Barbarena.
You think Barberina is going to stay on his feet for that long?
Okay, the first 3 minutes, but he is going to have to spend some time on the feet with Brian Barberena,
For
and
sure. For sure.
that could go very, very south for him very, very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. He's usually pretty good at taking punishment, though.
By the way, that fight's going to be at bantamweight.
What fight?
Michaela Harrison, she's dropping a weight class.
She
Yeah.
can't make that.
No, she's gonna
Bantamweight?
She
listen
can't
to
make
me.
bantamweight.
Bullshit, because she can now use the PI. So yes, she can. She's probably already been going there since she was out of contract with them. Probably been training there using the facility since before that, since she was hanging out with Dana White, since before that contract fucking expired.
Joe, are you
And
sure, bro? I don't think you realize like how much muscle she has. She's a very muscular woman.
oh, she's gonna make it. And yeah, I have full confidence in it. So this is them trying to get Amanda out of retirement because Amanda was supposed to fight Kayla. That's what was supposed to happen.
Dude,
And
I'm not gonna lie. I usually shit on people for wanting to watch fights that are like past their due, but I will definitely be a simp for Kayla and Amanda fight. Fuck yeah, dude. Give me that shit.
Andrew, you're just asking for Kayla to
Man,
get
she's
smoked.
so I'm gonna be
she
100%
came
honest.
off a loss.
I
Right?
give you my word. I'm betting Holly Holm. I
Okay.
give you my word.
Dude, you know
So
Holly's my girl too. I always have a special place in my heart for her, but out with the old, in with the new.
Plus
um
300, she's gonna be.
She'll be a big dog, in my opinion.
oh my god, I hope it's one of them situations where we get her at stupid money. They're gonna be like, she's old, she's
Yeah.
washed up. Like we're gonna hear it all, bro.
Neil Magny. Neil
Yeah,
Magny,
Yeah.
gatekeeper.
yeah, we're gonna hear it all. And yeah, she is going to.
Dude, she has no power anymore, bro. She has no more punching powers.
No.
It's
Okay.
true.
All
She got
right.
kicked, though.
Like
She
she's
did.
throwing pillow fists, bro, and she wants to clinch a lot. Like, dude, she's no.
Her
This is not the
key-ups
fight
are
for her.
really loud, though.
If
Okay.
this fight were like 5 years ago, I'd be like, all right, yeah, you're getting 5 years ago, Holly Holm. Yeah, that's a different story.
I mean, I agree with you there in full. But Holly Holm is gonna sub her ass. Watch this.
Dude, I
Watch.
can't. Oh, dude, I'm so
Watch
excited for
this.
that card
She's
now.
gonna sub her. She's gonna sub her, and Andrew's gonna be so. No, I'm talking shit about that. She's gonna take her the distance. Like I just want to fuck with Andrew. She's gonna take her the distance. I just don't see how Kayla beats Holly. Um, if she finishes her though, hats off to her because Amanda will return. And let's put out there that just a few minutes ago, I was just talking about Amanda said she's open to returning. So that's probably not all a coincidence. Daniel, go ahead.
For my next trick, I'm about to piss a bunch of people off. The fight I'm looking forward to the most is finally Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. That should have happened 2 times. The third time's the charmer. I got Bobby Green by KO.
Yeah, we're not talking about the 300 card, but I do agree. I think that fight is going to be a fucking banger, and it is very long overdue. I agree. Let's get these fight announcements out of the way. That way we can move on, because that fight announcement has me hyped. But we're gonna move on to UFC Vegas 89 next week, March 23rd. Billy Quarantillo is going to be taking on Gabriel Miranda. You think Quarantillo just outlasts him and then fucking drowns him?
I don't know. Probably Billy was wanting someone to make him a little fight poster thing, and his online photos are just very uninspirational for that. So just
We'll move on to UFC Atlantic City, March 30th. Ebo Oslin is going to be taking on the Pleasure Man, Anton Turkali.
we're not allowed to talk about that fight because you just called him the Pleasure Man.
Yo,
Who?
that's his nickname, bro.
Yeah, we're
Who?
So this fight, now we can finally talk about it. I know someone brought it up earlier. This fight makes me laugh. So first I will announce it and then I will tell you why it makes me laugh. So Dominic Reyes is out. The reason why I think that's funny is because Carlos Obert originally pulled out of their fight that was originally scheduled for a few weeks ago. And Dominic basically insinuated that he was faking an injury.
That
Well,
was
now it
last
gets
week.
reannounced, and now he's out. So what's up with that? Anyways, Carlos Holberg will now be taking on Alonzo Menafield. I actually think that's a. I mean, I think Menzafield's going to get starched at some point, but
yes,
I mean, it'll be a
yes.
striking affair, so it'll be fun.
The
Not for
hand,
long. It won't.
the
Not for
hand
long.
model.
It won't. Alonzo ain't got enough gas for that shit, bro. He does not have enough gas for Allberg. Yeah, it won't be long. This ain't gonna be no go the distance, late second, third round for nope. Alonzo ain't got the gas, bro. Allberg all day to the floor on that one.
First round net KO.
Yeah, I can sincerely say I might go watch. I doubt it. I might go watch some tape, but I'm definitely betting the fucking KO and the first round prop on that shit for sure.
There it is. There it is. Moving on, we have UFC Vegas 90, which is April 6th. We have Cesar Almeida taking on Josh Fremd. I thought so. And then we have a Cynthia Calvillo taking on Piera Rodriguez.
Yeah, there's just whatever. What's next?
We will go to there's no official event name for it because I think the location is to be determined, but it will be a UFC event on April 27th. We're going to start off with Mahashete, and he's going to be taking on Anshul Jubilee. I'll tell you what, the last time I saw Jubilee, he got bullied, he got punked. Dude took his fucking lunch money. Dude took his shoes off his feet and said, "Get the fuck out of here." So I'm definitely taking Mahashete, especially because he's got that knockout power. He's gonna knock his ass out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let Daniel get it. He put it up last fight. Go ahead, Daniel. Slow to the punch.
Yeah, I got Mahashente too.
Yeah, that's what's up. Next fight. I don't know how to say this last name because of the double L, but it doesn't look Hispanic. So we're going to go with James Lontop. He's taking on Lando Venata. I know Lando's always a fun fighter, so that shit should be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yep. And then last fight announcement
Lando
for
by
that card,
submission.
we have Ariane Lipsky, Queen of Violence, taking on Karine Silva. Sure, Joe's got something to say about that one.
Karini Silva to the moon, motherfucker.
No, the queen of violence to the moon, boy. I mean,
Ooh.
daddy.
You
Ooh.
clearly don't watch fights. Karini Silva is going to submit her first round, no question.
No,
Uh,
father, you are wrong.
Karini
no,
Silva is gonna dust Lipsky. I'm sorry.
dust her, son, but it is going to be bad.
You
Uh,
are wrong. All of you are wrong,
you
T'Challa.
can love Lipsky all you want. It will not make her a good fighter, brother.
3
It really
fight
sounds
winning
like
streak.
Daniel's yelling at his stepdad. Like, no, you're wrong.
All of you are wrong.
Yo,
Lipstick.
didn't Lipsky get knee barred like a few years ago? I
Listen,
swear someone pulled off a knee bar on her ass.
yeah, listen, Karini Silva. What is the date on that fight, Andrew?
April 27th.
Man,
No cap. Lipsky's never been submitted. She's only been knocked out.
Then who am I thinking of? I thought it was her.
Lipsky knee barred someone. She did knee bar someone.
Oh, maybe that's what it is then. Okay.
Yeah.
listen, Karini Silva is gonna fuck her up. That fight is not going to take long.
Look,
Joe, you've been on her for a
I
while.
love my share of Afro, ladies that fight with an Afro. Look, I love them. I'm attracted to that, but I never bet against family. Lipsky with Kings MMA, never go against
I don't
family.
give a fuck about the Afro or not the Afro, bro. She is a
Hey,
fucking monster. She is
hey,
gonna,
you mess with the fro, you got to go,
bro.
undercover brother.
She is a monster. She is going to submit Lipsky in the first round. I am not even questioning it. She is going to submit her in the first round.
Lipsky's never been submitted, so
I
you
don't
mess with the
care.
fro, you
I
got to
don't care.
go.
I don't care.
So that's all I have for fight announcements. However, I just do want to announce the 3 upcoming pay-per-view cards. UFC 298, February 17th in Anaheim. UFC 299, it's going to be March 9th in Miami. And then UFC 300 will be April 13th in the fight capital of the world. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak in there because it's kind of in topic later. The UFC is on target to have 14 pay-per-views this year, and I believe firmly that by the end of 2025, it will either be 15 or 16, and if it is not already 16, it will be going into 16 for 2026. And by then, the cards will probably also be $100 a piece. But I'm fully confident it's going there. Anyway, that's all you got, bud?
That's all I have, man.
Okay, so we got, let's laugh
Hey,
that
oh
out.
wait, no. Actually, if you want, we got some time, right? We can talk about Kayla some more. I'm cool with that.
Listen, I'm gonna give you your credit, and I'm gonna say this, that this is ideally the fight that puts Kayla in position to fight for the title. Um, Ideally for the UFC, um, Holly Holm is ranked number 5. Um, so Kayla Harrison would be ranked number 5. And the women in front of her are Irene Aldana, who I think could give Kayla some real problems. Caitlin Vieira, Myra Brenna Silva, who you know how I feel about her. Juliana Pena, who I think is really good. I think that her and Kayla would be a very interesting fight to watch. Kayla has they have some weaknesses and some strengths that would counter each other, but I feel like they could also both gas each other. Yeah, I'd feel pretty confident that they both have the tools to gas each other. So that would be an interesting fight to see. If she beats Holly, she gets the Raquel fight next. Raquel gets monstered if she doesn't retire in wake of it, in which case Amanda Nunes returns and fights for her vacant belt, in my opinion.
Wait, so hold on. Okay, so you're saying if Kayla wins, you think she gets the next shot, meaning Juliana doesn't, or she gets the next shot after Juliana?
Juliana does not.
Ooh, you think so?
Kayla
That's
Harrison.
juicy, bro.
So here's what I will say. Kayla Harrison's power in PFL was extremely capped. I'm not insulting the PFL today. I'm not
No, I know
talking
what you're
about
saying.
it like the talent pool, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm dogging out women's bantamweight at um the UFC right now, it's because I seen a golden age of it not that long ago. So, of course I have this crazy high standard, but the UFC is the platform to make Kayla Harrison an actual semi pay-per-view draw, a big deal to have as a co-main. Um, the UFC could promote her that way at 135. Yeah, I really think that that it's very sellable for the UFC. Better, haven't heard from you tonight. Nice to see you, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just trying to wonder why is this happening at 135? You would think if they
Yeah.
want like to make her a champion or something, it would be at 145. Because even 145, I think she looked best at 155. 145, you can definitely tell the difference. I don't think like 135 would be the best because Holly Holm is a veteran and she looks good at
Guys, guys,
135.
guys, guys, guys. The UFC does not have a 145-pound division. It doesn't exist. It's not in their rankings. It's not on their
Should
website.
have brought it back to
It's
life. I don't know
not.
how this chick has been
They got
fighting
rid
for
of it.
20 pounds higher.
They got rid of it months ago. The few fights that are left under contract at featherweight, they are having out, but they directly affect the bantamweight rankings. They've made that clear because
Oh, I didn't know
they
that.
they are almost done with all of them. There may not even be any left at this point. Um, so 145 is gone. It's not even a division in the UFC. And
And this
even
is
if
going
it
to
was,
tank.
and even if you had every female UFC or female talent at 145 pounds on Earth, you would have 5 UFC fighters, 6 PFL fighters, um, and you'd have 11 ranked fighters. Like,
I mean, they gave Amanda Nunes a few defenses. They could have did the same for Kayla because I
yeah.
don't think it's
So the
happening at
difference
135.
was, so the reason they won't do it is they created a 145-pound division for Cyborg to come in, just like they did 135 for Rousey. She was the platform, right? They bring Cyborg in 145. We start filtering over some 135ers. You collect some W's. We bring over, we start recruiting talent at 145. The gyms, girls will start bulking up. Give us 5 years. We will build a 145-pound division around you. And then Amanda Nunes knocked her the fuck out 3 times in like 2 minutes and threw all that shit to the gutter. The UFC is not going to waste money trying to promote that and do that again. And Kayla Harrison at 145 is a paper champion, and nobody cares who she fights. Even if it's Juliana, here's the fucked up thing.
No one cares now.
Even if it's Juliana and Holly Holm, the same people she's going to fight at 135, nobody cares at 145 because there's no real ranking system in place, in my opinion.
I
Go ahead.
wonder what she's gonna look like.
I think she's going to look phenomenal. She's got the PI behind her. That PI is amazing, bro. I think she's going to look phenomenal. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that she's going to have a horrible time getting down to 135. I don't think has she even fought at 35 before?
No, never.
Yeah, never.
I think she's fought at 40 before, and I think she said that was a horrible cut for her. But 35, I think it's going to drain her.
I really honestly remember I said it. I feel like in the lead up, you're going to hear her talking about how the doctors at the PI helped her, meaning they can give you a formula. They can tell you what weight you need to get down to. They can give you schedules. They can tell you if it's safe for you. They can tell you, like, the PI does crazy good things for that. So I, with full confidence, feel like the Performance Institute will get her there.
Joe, do you really feel like there's zero chance that they try to use Kayla to kind of revive that 145 division?
No, because they need to revive 135. Andrew, listen.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen to me.
That's true.
Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena, Myra Buena Silva, Ketlin Vieira, Irene Aldana, Holly Holm, Penny, can I say it?
Kianzad.
Kianzad, Yana Santos, Misha Tate, Carol Rosa, Macy Shazan, Norma Dumont, Julia Avila.
But they got one 35 division
And,
already.
and that's the
Whoa,
funny thing.
whoa,
Is,
wait. I'm doing the top 15. Wait. Norma Dumont, Julia
Avila.
Josiane Nunes, Chelsea Chandler, Melissa Dixon is the top 15 at 135. The UFC doesn't need a 145-pound division. They need a 135-pound division, my friend.
That's fair. That's totally fair. And I'm never one to sit here and be like, dude, this whole division sucks. But dude, this whole division sucks.
Let's be honest. In
They all
great
suck.
shape, I could pick out 8 of them women. And if you could bet Amanda Nunes to fight all 8 of them in one day, you would pick Amanda Nunes to win 8 times in one day. And you would fucking bet it. You would not only bet it, you would max bet it. Whatever your max bet is, you'd be like, wait a minute. So I can parlay Amanda Nunes knocking out Melissa Dixon, Chelsea Chandler, Josiane Nunes, Julia Avila, Norma Dumont, Macy Shazane, Carl Rosa, Misha Tate, and Yana Santos in one day. That's all top 15 talent right there, bro. You would bet the shit out of that. That's the problem. I'm not big upping Amanda, and I'm not trying to kill them.
Bro, you know what I would love to see with the rankings, but they won't do it because the rankings never make sense. And I tell everyone to never make sense the rankings because they don't make sense. I would love to see them cut it down from 15 to 10. It just makes sense.
They
The
just
11 to
went
15
to
is fucking
15.
useless.
So they just went to 15 because the problem is that it's not really a problem. It makes for better television. It makes for a bigger system than the UFC top 10 because back in the day, we would constantly talk about, like guys like me and Rhino would constantly talk about, yeah, but he's probably a top 15 guy. He's probably a top 15 guy. And that was like the popular debate. I like that that debate is gone. I like that there is 15. But when you look at divisions like this, I understand how you feel. When you look at the UFC heavyweight division, and you see, like, I love John Jones and he's the king, and I'm not, I don't talk shit about my guy's division. But when you look at the fact that Jairzinho Rosenstruck is number 12 in his division, um, yeah, that's all I got, bro.
Joe, you know what I've always found funny about the rankings too is it's like, okay, if you're going to do the top 15, do the top 15. You're actually doing the top 16 though, because you're doing a champion and then it's top 15 contenders. It's like, dude, no, just make the champion number one and then do a top 15. It's so weird the way they fucking do
He's
it.
not number one, though. You have to be a boxing fan to understand the number one contender. Number one has never been the champion.
Bro, this isn't boxing, man.
I mean, I get it. Daniel, you put it up a minute ago. I think we ignored Better. If you want to get on there, throw it back up, Better. Daniel, go ahead.
Do you remember back in, grade school where a bully would, like, bully you for your lunch money and stuff? And sometimes it wouldn't be a guy, it'd be a girl. That's Kayla Harrison. She's going to bully Holly Holm. This is a classic, bully against the other kid who's a preacher's daughter. I mean, it's like textbook. That's why I say Kayla Harrison is going to smother the hell out of Holly Holm. She's going to rub her out with her judo and submit her on the ground. And I'd be like smothering, like, how someone's like, I'm going to rub you out, say, rub you
All
out.
right, bro. Come on, man. All right. Um,
Oh,
You'll see. You'll all see.
yo, what round, Daniel? What round?
Most, the latest round two. Kayla Harrison finishes her fights.
you're crazy. Better.
I
Go
know
ahead.
I am. Thank you.
Dude, I gotta disagree with that, man. I studied her at 145. She does not have the fucking cardio she does at 155. At 155, she's a beast. Now she's coming down to 135 against a striker who knows how to use her wrestling, but knows how to use her movement even better. I honestly think she gets knocked out.
Andrew's point of Holly's power fading with age, maybe the only thing that saves her for that. But I think she gets outclassed for 5 rounds in that situation. Connor J, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just so hung up on this weight thing. Did Dana say? Because I haven't watched that video of him announcing it. Did he say it's at 35? Or are we just speculating?
No,
It's on Tapology.
Cade said it was announced at 135. He came
That's
in, announced
insane.
it, and bounced, whatever. But
So
he
I didn't
said
hear that
that.
part. That's insane. I just can't. She is like massive for like women's MMA. I just can't imagine her getting down to 35. But that's just me.
Man, maybe I'm tripping. I just don't think she's that big.
She is big. She flips grown men on the regular. Didn't you watch Impractical Jokers?
I mean, how tall is she?
I'll get back to you on that.
It's 5'8".
All right,
She's
so
5'8".
yeah, I don't see. Maybe I'm crazy, but I
No,
think
I'm 5'10". She can kick my ass, but I'd be thankful.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of talk about boxers that are ranked number 400 in the world and MMA fighters that are ranked nowhere in the world, putting it to top ranked women in the gym all the time. That they
Yeah.
don't even have to. They don't. The women don't train. When they say they train with men, They're not training with the top men most of the time because the top men would be far too big of a problem for them.
That is
Like
true.
even
But
in training.
Kayla's a mom. You know how tough moms are, and I do mean the real ones, not the half-ass moms that are deadbeat.
Hey, Joe, I
Yeah,
just watched the video. It's confirmed 135.
very nice. Very nice. She'll get there. All right, so we hung up on that for 15 minutes. I got a few topics here. We're gonna hit these topics. I like them. I broke them down in 3 categories because they're kind of run-on topics. So I'm gonna try to do something I haven't done before. Give me just a moment here.
Is it safe?
I mean, we'll find out, man. All right, so I got it open, and earlier we were talking about Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira, and I personally still think that that will be the headline for UFC 300. I I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't know why. I have for a little while. They did the face off, then said no, there was no smoke to that, and then said there was, and then Tommy or then said there was no smoke to that, and Tom made it sound like it was never ever a thing, and then AP said, okay, I want to fight Jamal Hill then, but now that Tom is clearly not getting the um, John Jones fight. That's clearly not going his way. Tom had this to say when asked.
Would you like to fight Alex Pereira, UFC 300? If he wants to, I will. But going on record and saying I'm not a bully. I don't bully smaller guys. But if the smaller guy wants to scrap, can't be him.
So for me, there is some smoke to that. Yeah, I really still feel like it's an option. I posted earlier, I tweeted out that if AP, so I don't feel like Tom has the right to step in on the John Stipe fight that was already planned because his title came in lieu of that fight having to be put on hold. And I know me and Connor are going to go hard on this, but we won't. I will let him get a mic spot and say his piece, and we'll just let each other have our piece. But I do feel that if AP becomes the first 3 division champion, and we're talking the big divisions now, the 3 big divisions in the UFC, he absolutely is a legacy fight. He absolutely gets to go into that GOAT category, even if we don't like it. Even if we're like, fuck him, 6 fights, no way. No, even if that's how we feel, man, that's going to be hard to deny. Yeah. So I'll let Connor, because he threw his hand up right away. I'll let him comment, and then I'm going to let Better get right into it. I'm not, Connor, you can say your piece. I'm not going to hammer back at you, brother.
Yeah. If anybody wants to know, Joe and I had a nice long Twitter debate going back and forth about this John and Stipe and Tom fight triangle. I don't agree. I think Tom should fight John. I think Tom should fight the champion, whether that's John or whoever. I think when John gets back, they should unify the belts. That's what I think. But yeah, Joe and I don't agree. That's all good. I love a good debate though, Joe. So, but I think
Oh,
the
my
first.
favorite part, bro, was that we didn't like each other's tweets. I hate when motherfuckers are debating with you liking your tweets. Like, bitch,
Yes.
like, I hate it, bro. I loved that I knew we would be cool and you would be here tonight, and we didn't have to like each other's tweets. We could really
Oh,
debate.
dude,
Go ahead.
people I live for debating on Twitter. People always think it's like some sort of beef. I love debating. But anyways, I'm mad at Tom versus AP, I guess. I think they're kind of like scrambling if that's what they're trying to do for like a headliner. They're kind of like they're trying to find something to headline the card, which it'd be a good fight, you know.
It would be a great fight. And I'll say this, that At that point, Tom can start putting himself in the argument for, I should get the fight. I should get to unify it. I just beat the 205 champion, the dude who was a champion, not a double champ, but a 2 division champion within 3 fights. I feel like it would give him a bigger leg too. Better, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. I don't think Tom has any right to step in between Stipe and John because that itself is a legacy fight, and I don't. But I also don't believe Pereira has any business stepping up against Tom. Like Tom is just a bad matchup. If he beats him, then yeah, that man is an absolute legend. But it's not gonna happen. Tom is a complete bad matchup for him. I think if they want to put Tom on the fight card, just and I know I probably people won't agree with this, but I honestly think they should try to bring Brock Lesnar back and make him fight Tom because Tom isn't his Brock. Even though he wasn't like a really good fighter, he was an explosive wrestler that created a lot of problems for strikers. And I think that would be a good test for Tom. And if he gets past him, then we all know how
Dana,
big of a problem Tom
Dana,
is.
Dana officially kiboshed that 2 days
I
ago.
know, but I'm just saying like that would
Do
be
you know
good.
how old Brock is right now?
But do you still know how explosive he is? Like, especially now that the suit is gone, bro.
45 years old.
Yeah, but let's just say that
45
Brock
years
did
old,
win.
and he bowed out of the DC fight because he said he was too old.
And even if he did
No, he
win,
got
he's
paid
not
more money
sticking
by
around for any length of
WWE.
time.
Uh, Za.
Yo, shout out Brock Lesnar though. My thing though with AP, I just dude, this guy, I think he wants to fight everybody because he's mean mugging Drakus while he's in the corner. Now he's mean mugging Aspinall the whole time. Like this guy's crazy, man.
So here's all I want to say. Here's all, here, here. If AP does get the Tom fight and he beats him, and then he gets the John fight, or at least to be the talk of the John fight for a while, Israel Adesanya will be the most miserable person on earth. Israel Adesanya came in, said he was going to go to 205, beat John, go up to heavyweight, take that belt, retire the greatest fighter of all time. He used to talk all that shit. And then AP showed up. I know he got AP once, but AP showed up. Grab that 185 strap, grab that 205 strap. If he grabs that heavyweight strap, I mean, my man is like 6'3", 6'4". Him being 250 is no problem. I mean, I don't care that he went down to 185. I assure you, him being 240, 250 is no problem. That is a big man. So, man, I think he can make the call. I just think like we may not like it. I don't like that AP will have to be in the conversation. Have to be in the greatest of all time conversation if you come into the UFC and do that in 6 fights. Yeah, see the thumbs down? I agree with you. But how do you say a dude that came in the era with all these dudes that you're like, oh, he's great. Adesanya was a GOAT. John was a GOAT. If he pulls this off, it's fuck, man. It's like not even an argument. It's so crazy to me. Alien, go ahead, bud.
Look, I do agree, man. It is pretty crazy, and I don't like Alex's odds of getting the job done. But could you imagine the spectacle of UFC 300 being headlined by Alex and Tom at heavyweight, and Alex does win? Dude would have won his third belt in the UFC at UFC 300 while still being the light heavyweight champion. Like that would just be fucking crazy. Like that would be
So
the cherry on the fucking cake to a crazy card.
and
Obviously, it's probably, I mean, the odds of him winning, pretty slim. But I mean, he's a fucking champ. He's
the
he's a
dude
good
tweeted
fighter, and
out
he's a big fucking dude.
the dude
Could
tweeted
happen.
out a couple of months ago 300 plus 30 equals 3. And it was highly speculated that meant UFC 300 plus 30 pounds equals 3 belts. In my opinion, he's been shaping up for this for 8 to 12 weeks. How long ago did he fight? he may have just stayed pretty much in camp. Yeah, I just think he's been gearing up for it. Whether you think he can win or not, it's okay. I don't need to debate whether he can beat Tom or not. Like, I don't even care. I'm just saying I think he's been gearing up for it for a short period here. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the whole him being in the GOAT debate. If he wins a third belt, I don't think he even cracks the top 10. I think if he does, he's 10 or 9. I don't think it. This he wouldn't even have a case. 3 belts with no title defenses between any of them is no. You got to do more than that.
That's some Connor shit, right? He just wins belts and doesn't defend them.
Exactly. And look where Connor's
Yo,
ranked all time.
I say that about
Look where
Connor all
Connor's
the
ranked all
time.
time.
But what I will say, what the differences between Alex and Connor is, at least Alex tried to defend them. Connor didn't even get back in the octagon
Hey,
to defend
that's
them.
true.
Alex, at least he
That's
lost them.
true, but if he
Yeah,
doesn't,
you're absolutely right.
but he's not attempting to defend the light heavyweight title right now.
I wouldn't say, like, me personally, I wouldn't say he's on the GOAT train yet, but you can't deny that in what 6-7 fights, winning 3 belts in 3 different divisions is fucking that's somewhere on some list that's gonna be there forever. That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Top of the list, most titles. Number 1. Better, go ahead.
Yeah, the GOAT conversation. I don't agree with that. Like, he beat Adesanya, then he beat Jan, even though people shit on Jan. Jan is a fucking hell of a fighter that gets better in between each fight, because I studied that man. That man is good. And if he beats Tom Aspinall, this new breed of heavyweight that is probably going to have a long reign if he doesn't get beat, like that man, that would make Alex Pereira the absolute legend and probably I would say top 5 GOAT. Like, who does that? Doesn't matter if he defended his belts. It's who he fought and beat.
And you can say he lost, right? Like Izzy beat him, right? Izzy was super argued. Even after he lost and came back, is greatest of all time, one of the greatest, better legacy than Silva. Like, Izzy is super argued. So it's not like, oh, he got dropped by some bum back in the day, 4 fights ago, not really back in the day. You know, I just feel like, even if you don't think it will be hard to keep him out of the conversations. It will be hard. Connor.
Yeah, I just disagree. I think it's incredibly easy to keep him out of it. By that logic, like, he would have to be better than a lot of the guys that are in the top 10 or even top 5, because he's done something that John's never done, Silva's never done, GSP, Aldo, Stipe. None of these guys have ever had 3 titles in 3 different weight classes. So what do they have over him? I'm saying at that point. But like the argument to that is long title runs and the resume to back it up, which would trump the 3 titles that he would have with 0 title defenses. It's easy to defeat.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I get the debates that have arise from it. I said very early on that I thought that he would be the first 3 division champion. Yeah, I said it pretty early on. As soon as he got the 205 belt, I think I was in here the next week, and these guys were like, "Jesus, bro, already?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." So, short of that, or on top of that, AP broke up with this girl. Said he found out she was married. She says he's just trying to blame her for shit on social to embarrass her, but she didn't deny it. She didn't deny it. Then he posted private text messages or some shit between him and her husband, and then said that he assaulted her, and he's got it on footage. And whatever. I don't see this really rattling him. I see this him being the guy who's going to be angry that his girl pissed him off, and he's going to hurt somebody for that. Yeah. Last little topic touching with AP is Yuri says leading up to his fight, he had staph in his
Oh,
leg. He could
So did
only train.
Sean.
He could only train 1 out of 5 weeks, and he said it after the fight or before the fight. I'm not sure when. He said it went into his ear and swelled his ear up, and he was on antibiotics after the fight. Like, I don't know. He's making a case for staph, but you showed up. Like, I'm a racer, right? Like, or at least I used to be a racer, and you know, there's this thing. If you run, if you run, you run. So it's like, or if you chase, you race. So like, if you think someone takes off early, but you take off after them, and that's it. It's a race. If you thought they cheated or you thought they did something wrong, you should have waited at the line. But if you beat them, you want all the credit for beating them. But if you lose to them, you want to be able to say this excuse, this excuse. And it's not allowed in racing. If you chase, you race. So I kind of feel that way about Yuri. Like, you showed up. I don't want to hear about it. You showed up. And you've never really hear me defend a fighter about an injury they said they had going in. I don't think I've ever done it. Like, you showed up, bro. You chase, you race. You wanted the belt, you wanted the glory, you wanted the bonus, you wanted the paycheck, you wanted all of it. That's why you showed up. You you showed up. So I don't give a fuck about his staph infection personally. Better go ahead.
Yeah, that's starting to be like a little thing when people start to like build up momentum and then they lose a big fight and then they just like they got all sorts of excuses. I don't like that at all. If it was really that bad, I think you should have just pulled out.
100%. 100%, bro. All right, so that's kind of the AP Tom John. I guess a little bit of Stipe, mention Jamal Hill news. So from there, the next set of topics I have is Dana White, the UFC, and Saudi Arabia. Um, so first thing first, Dana White was questioned by a Canadian reporter. Did everybody hear it?
yes.
I heard it. He was like, "Yo, oh, the card wasn't shit. That's a bunch of bullshit."
No,
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 I'm talking.
no. He was a woke Canadian. Goes, how do you feel about putting a leash on your fighters? And then
Yeah,
he
hold on,
goes,
hold on, hold on. Okay, so if everybody didn't hear it,
Obviously give a long leash to your fighters about what they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there? I don't give anybody a leash. Well, I'm saying you a leash. Like free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people. I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question? I was asking that question. I'll move on though. Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want. You
see,
obviously.
so um,
it's those damn woke people. They don't shut the hell up.
well, I do feel like that was a little bit of a baity question. They're trying to make him speak about a topic that they want to, whatever their angle is, whoever they are. I don't need to bash them. Um, I don't disagree with. I super agree with free speech. I think everybody on earth. I mean, like it's. I cannot possibly understand not having free speech. That is the craziest thing I ever to me. So, I think a lot of leagues should practice it more. Um, it's a very like weird thing for me. Like the NFL makes all their players dress up, do this, do that, do this, but then you hear these crazy stories about NFL players, and people are mad that they're still in the league. Um, but like they're people too. They show up to work, they do the job, they do what they're supposed to. They catch a DUI. accidentally hurt somebody. I never ever would justify domestic violence, but let's just say, it's not a repeat thing. Someone messes up, situation gets out of control, and it gives them a stigmatism like forever. And people will always talk about, oh, that motherfucker shouldn't be in the league. I don't even, yeah, whatever, fuck that guy. Like, people will always villainize them forever as if people don't make mistakes. My favorite thing about fighting is that there is no culture of that. And to be honest, there doesn't seem to be a culture of it anywhere. I don't keep up with one enough to know if one kind of, I don't know what their policies are, but I don't feel like the PFL, Bellator, UFC, Cage Warriors, Fury FC, Invicta. I don't feel like we have that climate. And personally, it's probably one of my favorite things that I never realize is my favorite thing about the sport. Um, I hate when they don't let these guys wear their flags. I don't care what they support. If it's the flag of a government, they should be able to wear it. Um, Hang it. I understand that the UFC does get some permissions. I think that's pretty cool that they make sure that that government is okay with that fighter representing them. And I've heard some situations where the government's like, no. So, um, I believe in all those freedoms for the fighters. Let them be who they are. I think athletes should have that right too. I do think, when they ask you to come to the MMA awards and wear a suit, like, be respectful, man. Like, I don't think it's crazy for them to ask things of the fighters, but I agree with it. Daniel, go ahead.
I still think it was just a stupid ass woke fool that just wanted attention, and he got shut down by someone who's not of that. It's always them, man. I'm telling you. That's why I shut those assholes down immediately. Never give them room to breathe. It's like a
All
fight.
right,
Corner
we're
them.
not gonna veer off into that, bro. This is an MMA space. I get it.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
got it. I get it. But yeah, we're not
No,
gonna do that.
I'm sorry.
Zabeth, you had your hand up,
It's my
bro. You got anything?
trigger. No, I'm sorry. It's my trigger.
No, I didn't have my hand up. You could keep going.
Oh, okay, okay. So there was some question as to whether or not TKO Endeavor UFC was going to buy. Man, I didn't type it out because I'm like, oh, I know. Top Rank. I don't think that is the case. I actually think I know who is going to buy Top Rank Boxing. I feel very, very confident about who is going to buy Top Rank Boxing. I listened to the interview that Saudi's Turkey Al Lashik um, did with the Zone. They are gunning to turn boxing into the return it to the glory of the late 1970s, early 1980s, when it was the number one sport on earth. It ranked at the top for years. He mentioned that it's currently number 14 in the global demographic, and they plan to fix that. They want to hurry all of these fights that everybody wants to see, because Fury is 37 and Usyk is 38 and Joshua is 36 and Wilder is, maybe he was 38. I don't know exactly all their ages, but they're all right in there. And they're over 35 and over, under 40. And they want to make this happen. They want to get it going. They didn't weirdly talk about any of the smaller American stars, Gervonta Davis and them, until they were asked. And then they quickly said, they want to do that. He had contacted them and everything. But he definitely made it clear that they have money and that they want to do to the boxing what the UFC did to MMA. So here's a clip with Dana White on Sports Zone. I do not know the reporter's name. I'm very sorry. I know Alex Bronstetter or is it Aaron Bronstetter? I mix him and Alex Bo, whatever it is, up all the time, man. I'm so sorry. But I know this is his network or one of the outlets that he works for. But when they asked Dana if he thought that there was a time when he would be able to unify all of combat sports under one banner or three banners that all work in cohesion. And this was what Dana had to say basically when asked about getting into boxing. And I think this tells us where or who is purchasing Top Rank.
When you look at what Saudi Arabia is doing right now, right? Saudi Arabia is going to control whatever big fights you could possibly make. Callum Walsh is going back to Madison Square Garden. He will fight there. We will take Callum Walsh to Ireland this year too. And I'm more interested in what I love to do is I love to build things from the ground up, no matter what it is. Okay. And I would love to play with this for a little while, build some stars, see what we can do. And, nobody's going to jump in and battle with Saudi Arabia and trying to make fights. Those guys got the money to make all the fights that you couldn't see or would never happen will all happen now because of Saudi Arabia. When you look,
and he's kind of referencing there like how historically you've never seen boxing matches when you're supposed to. So I think Dana is not even, I think he understands he's just not going to compete there. I think he might promote some stars. He might do that. He's a boxing guy. Endeavor, TKO probably have a division of boxers that they promote, but I don't know. Maybe that's how they start exploring the way that the Ali Act works, to be honest. Yeah, maybe that's how. I don't know, but maybe that's how. So there's that. And then Don Davis had so all right. So then during the interview with the Zone, Turkey Al Sheikh, who runs the Saudi Arabia General Entertainment Fund. This was the fund that was like a couple $100 billion that we talked about. So like when they gave 100 million or whatever it was to PFL, how it really wasn't an investment for them. They are trying to build a sports mega nation over there. Call it sports washing. They say they're trying to build a new economy for their country. I don't know what their fucking intentions are. But they are putting millions and millions of dollars. They had a golfing league that couldn't get certain contracts because of the PGA, and they got in a dispute with the PGA, so they bought the PGA. They now own it. That was just like no big deal for them. They just bought it. So now they've absorbed it, and because that's how big they are. Here's what Turkey had to say about the UFC and their model and what he wants to do with boxing. Give me 1 second.
Music. Did you cut out?
No, sorry.
Good show. Good trailer. Good trailer. DJ, you understand me? Good promotion. Use a lot of cameras. Use a lot of things. Similar to what UFC now do. They do it right because they are company, and they are all the only company. For that, we are coming with new strategy and new idea, new vision with sporting of the vision of 2030.
So they have a plan to build boxing out into 2030, basically in a structure like the UFC. It would make super sense for them to buy Top Rank. They get a lot of historic footage, Ali, bunch of other great fighters. So I think that's where Top Rank is going. And I think that the UFC will continue to work with Saudi Arabia. Where this all kind of ties together is that it was recently Don Davis, Don the Con is what I call him, recently slammed the UFC for their Saudi card getting moved, saying that it was a shit card basically, and that the Saudi government made him move it, which would have been Turkey Al Sheikh. He is the head guy of general entertainment. It's called the authority. He is the authority on general entertainment for Saudi Arabia. So then Ariel Hawani officially reported it. And then Dana White fired back. Dana White did 2 interviews where he had something to say about it. Here is the recent one. Here it is. I'm sorry, I had to set it up. Here it goes.
The event's been pushed back to June. I'm curious if that's true. And what about the reports where it was because of a disagreement over the card?
Total bullshit. That's a straight out fucking lie. I don't know who started it or how it started, but not one fight was announced to Saudi. Not one fight was announced to him. I called and asked to push the card back because we had a couple of guys that we want on the card, and they weren't ready. So, listen, you know how we are. We want to deliver. If we're going to Saudi Arabia at the level that these guys do things, and it's a fight night, we want to make it the best fight night we've ever done. So, anybody who came out and said it was because the card wasn't good is a fucking liar.
Those reports that
So Dana's basically denying it, which probably means it's true. He's got a history. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's a lie. Let's say that. It doesn't mean that it's a lie. But there does have to be some motive. I didn't do the homework that I could have today. I left a footnote to go find it. In the old space, in one of our old spaces, we actually discussed the Saudi Arabia card, and there were 4 or 5 fights on it. We assumed they were super low prelims, but I swear,
Yeah, I remember that. You broke the news to me that the card was canceled.
and then talked about the fights that were supposed to be on it, right? So Dana saying that no fights were on for the card. Maybe he's just saying he didn't announce any fights to the Saudis. Maybe that's what he's saying. So here's the thing: Dana's saying, and it's a fight night, right? The Saudis have huge money. If you've seen Conor McGregor at these boxing events, cage side and shit, that's the Saudi events. He's being flown out, flown in. Um, they've got the dough. So like they are the type of place that will pay the UFC money for a better card so that the UFC can pay fighters more fighters or bigger fighters. Um, Here's where I start trying to weave and maneuver and be clever as a fan. Um, Islam posted that he will be on a pay-per-view card on June 8th. A pay-per-view card no one knew existed. Any media outlet that I found talk about it basically makes it so like Islam announced this June 8th card, right? So in June, there is a pay-per-view card at the beginning of the month, June 8th, and we got a International Fight Week group. It's guys that go to International Fight Week and travel heavy to fights. If any of you guys do that, you can hop in there, man. Guys can tell you about arenas, cards, shit like that. It's a weirdly different group. It's very slow, not a lot of activity, but man, what a solid group. So Vin was telling me that he lined up all the cards that are coming up and said that they could sneak a June 8th card in there, no problem. And that would get them 7 in the first half of the year. I say sneak in because Connor says that Fight Week which is going to be a pay-per-view, is happening June 28th or 29th. Let me click down here. June 29th is when he says it's happening. So that would technically be 2 pay-per-views in the last month of the half, which they have done more than a few times. This is how they do 14 in a year. So I've laid that out there for you. I've also repeated week after week in here that Michael Chandler, Mikey C don't have no contract, okay? And I know you guys are gonna be like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear it. I know. But I think you guys should hear this from the DAZN interview with Turkey Al-Sheikh. And if I am saying his name wrong, because it might be Al-Sheikh,
You had Conor McGregor here. You had Ronaldo here. Are we going to see Conor McGregor maybe fight in the Kingdom? Also, I tell to Caroline, he's like my sister Caroline here, and she's close friend with McGregor and myself. We are ready to have fight with him. We try maybe, and we will announce it. We will do something big, and I ask UFC if there is chance to have McGregor in this card or in the future in the card.
so the idea that Islam wants to fight in June and that Saudi Arabia wants their card in June and that Conor is fighting in June, I
Please
don't
don't
know,
say
man.
it. Please don't say it.
I'm not gonna. I just want to put all those pieces out there for everybody to know and be aware of that that's all really going on right now. Yeah, I mean, the writing could be clearly on the wall. Justin is booked. If Justin gets beat up by Max Holloway at all, he can't fight in June. Dustin's not getting it. I don't. Charles is going to wait one. I don't know why, but Islam is determined that Charles is going to wait one. I'm just saying that it's possible that in the desert of Saudi Arabia, that Conor McGregor gets the most undeserved title shot in 155-pound history. Yeah, I'm just saying that it's possible. I'm not promoting it or being like, yeah, I just watch all these different things and read all these different places, and I have all these outlets I follow because I really, the show I do is kind of the news show now, and I really like that. So I'm trying to take it serious. And when I read all of these headlines, things just kind of add up at some point. Like there's no way around it. Hey, Dead Pix, I know you probably got the YouTube running. If you do and you want content for it, man, go in the group chat. I put the whole space in there. You might got to spell check a few things, but you could just copy and paste it, man. Add some hashtags and shit. But that's in the team chat, brother. So, anyways, guys, yeah, I don't know. I just think that weirdly things may be lining up for that to be humanly possible, or for Conor not actually being on fight week to be humanly possible. Um, either way, and Islam ending up on fight week. Either way.
You know what else is humanly possible?
Go ahead.
Conor McGregor never fights again.
Yeah, that is quite possible. Connor J.
Yeah, I know Connor's sort of the exception to like every rule. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. But I don't think that the UFC I don't think even they could justify this. Like you said, like this would not only be the most undeserved title shot in lightweight history, but undeserved in just UFC history in general.
If you don't think that Saudi Arabia would write the UFC a big enough check to write Conor McGregor a $20 million check, and Islam Makhachev a $20 million check just to have that fight, you're out of your mind. They'd pay double that.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'm just really holding on to hope. Any sort of praying that they don't do this. That would just be an absolute travesty.
I agree. I'm putting all this shit together today, and I wasn't even putting it together. This was just stuff in various places, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Bro, even in the WWE, these guys and girls get more quote unquote deserved title shots with the build up they do than this kind of shit.
I understand. Also, TKO Endeavor, whatever. Starting in January 2025, Netflix will be the exclusive stream, or will exclusively stream WWE Raw in the US, Canada, UK, and Latin America every single week, all year long. I did not read the article. I took the headline because I seen Triple H shared it and someone shared his shit. So, yeah, I know it's legit. I don't know. It says all year long. I don't know if that's to say it's a 1 year deal, which would be fucking dumb. I don't really know what that means, but that's what it said. So that's all I got on them. Yeah, I think we can lap that one out. I feel like we covered that pretty well, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but man, I hope I am. So last topic that I have is, should Jim Miller's longevity be enough to get him into the Hall of Fame? And what does it mean to be a Hall of Fame fighter in lieu of that question? DC Daniel Cormier recently made some comments, which I don't have on film for you or whatever playback, saying that guys like Jim Miller just aren't Hall of Fame material. Like he basically said he's a journeyman, he's a career journeyman, and he shouldn't be there. Jim Miller is the example that ranks above all. Like, we can think of a lot of great fighters that very questionable to get into the Hall of Fame that you really could justify that they deserve it. But I will say, in Jim Miller's defense, from 2008 to 2024, he has had 43 UFC fights, 26 wins, 16 losses, no draws, and one contest. He's 40 years old, still fighting for a top 15 spot against Bobby Green. I went over to capmma.com, brought up the UFC leaders because those are live rankings, just a little easier to navigate. Quick scroll down. Everything is there. Just quick scroll down to see it all. He is total fights, number 1, 43. Most wins, number 1, 26. Most finishes, number 2, 18. Most submissions, number 2, 12. Most bonuses, number 4. Tied for number 4. I fucking didn't put the number in there, but I believe it was, I think it was 14, and he was tied for number 4. Damn it. I'm not flipping back right now. Fight time number 5 at 6 hours, 56 minutes and 44 seconds. And I guess I will flip back and flip over anyways, because I want to tell you that Jim Miller is, where is he here? So his fight time, he's number 6, but he will pass a bunch of guys in just like 2 or 3 fights. Like, total fight time 6 hours 56 minutes. Clay Guida is at 6 hours 59. Max Holloway is at 7 hours 26. Those are all reasonable guys for him to catch, depending on. I mean, Max probably going to pass up Frankie Edgar at 7 hours 57. And then the other one he's got is most submission attempts. He is number 1 at 48. The dude is going to be all over the record books. Um, Man, I do think he's the type of guy that gets into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I hate the way they do the wings, but I don't know if it would be a certain. I don't know what the criteria would be if you would just name him as a pioneer or something and let it go. I don't know what you would do, but I think he deserves it. Connor J, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they sort of opened the gate or the door for Jim Miller being a Hall of Famer when they inducted Donald Cerrone. I don't like you said, Joe. I don't know what like the wings or what categories they put them in. I know they have like the Hall of Fame for like fights, like a Hall of Fame fight, and fighters get inducted for that. But I'm pretty sure Donald just got straight up inducted, like last year or something when he retired. And if Donald can get inducted, I think
No,
Jim
no,
should.
no, no, no. I go to those. I've been to the last few of those ceremonies. Andrew was there with me last year. He was inducted for the Rory McDonald fight. No, no, no. That was Robbie Lawler. My bad. You could. My bad. My bad. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think they just straight up inducted Donald as like for his accomplishments and longevity, resume, all that stuff. So if he gets in, then I think Jim should. I kind of like the idea of like somebody that's being in the company for that long and can be that relevant for all that time, have all those minutes, fight time, fights, wins, all that stuff. I think he should be rewarded for that and recognized.
Yeah, and like to me, Jim Miller is. He should be in. Like that's what the pioneer wing should be. I mean, I guess those guys maybe fought a little earlier, but I mean, there's guys that because fuck that, he was on UFC 100, bro, and there's guys that fought way after that that made it in. Yeah, he's a pioneer. It's just not even questionable. Man, I don't fuck. I can't be mad. I just feel like it's not questionable. Better go ahead.
Yeah, that was gonna be my same argument with the Donald Cerrone fight. Like, I'm surprised DC would say that, especially after Cerrone was already inducted. But Jim Miller, like, I think this is what should get him into the Hall of Fame. Is not just his longevity and his body of work. It's the fact that he was able to make people care about him this late in his career because he was already getting there where like people weren't really talking about him. Then all of a sudden, he starts submitting and knocking out these young guys, and then he starts building up this win streak, and then he just starts putting on these banger of a fights. People started caring again, and I think that's what's going to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, and it's like you cannot put the stipulation on that only champions can make the Hall of Fame. That's absolutely ridiculous. You're telling me Barry Sanders isn't a Hall of Fame running back? Like it's just a super easy one to draw a contrast with. Like, of course Barry Sanders is a Hall of Fame running back. Of course he is. So like, I don't know, and I know it's an individual sport, and I get it, but sometimes politics play into a lot. Tony Ferguson's whole career went to shit over timing and politics, in my opinion. Connor J.
Yeah, for one, I think Tony Ferguson should be a Hall of Famer, for that matter. But there's also like I follow basketball a lot, and there are guys like T Mac, never won a championship, never even got out of the second round. I'm pretty sure until his last
Charles
season.
Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley. At least Barkley was an MVP. But like guys like who never even won an MVP or a championship, like uh, yeah, like Tracy McGrady, like for example. But like he got in the Hall of Fame because he's just like a great player. He was All NBA, All Star, all that kind of stuff. And to me, that equates to a guy like Jim Miller. Jim Miller was a really good fighter, and he racked up a lot of wins. He was with the company for that long, and yeah, I just think like, dude, if they're gonna set the precedent with Donald Cerrone, I know that's probably the example that everybody's gonna turn to. But like, if you're rewarding that guy, what like because Cerrone got a title shot, that's what separates him and Jim Miller? I don't think so. I think that those two are like neck and neck with their careers.
So my only problem with your guys' comparisons, like I understand that I agree with you guys in the fact that I don't think you have to be a champion to be in the Hall of Fame. But when you say like Barry Sanders, right? Like you're correct. Barry Sanders never won a championship. But Barry Sanders was also widely known as the best person at that position in the entire NFL. You know what I mean? Like he was the best at that position. Jim Miller's never been the best. He's never been top 5. He's never been top 10. Like he's never been that good. So in terms of those comparisons, I just don't think they make sense. I think in because they do have that pioneer wing, I think that makes perfect sense for him because yeah, the longevity and all that. He kind of built the sport up. You know what I mean? So for the pioneer wing, I agree. But if we're talking about actual like talent and accomplishments and like what a true Hall of Fame is, nah, bro. No, you don't get the Hall of Fame just for competing for a long time. You get the Hall of Fame for being the best or one of the best.
So the only little or response I would have for that to draw contrast from NFL is I'm from Detroit. So the big thing around here for a long time was everybody hated Matthew Stafford. And a reporter kind of fucked up. I can't remember who it was. Kind of talked shit about Matthew Stafford. And then the next week, they had to publicly fucking apologize on air. They didn't have to announce it as an apology, but you could clearly see that they were backtracking, right? So Matthew Stafford lost for years. Like he lost, bro. He lost, right? Matthew Stafford has many records in the books, significant records. I don't want to misquote what they are, but like, not like, most snaps in a game, not that bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
real ass.
he's got a bunch of franchise records for the Lions for sure.
No, he has a bunch of NFL records. Go look it up. He is all over the top 5 in fucking
Yeah.
in
I
the
know what
record
you mean.
books. He is. He is. He put the numbers up, right? So the question would always be if he never leaves the Lions because he stayed with a losing franchise, would he ever make the Hall of Fame? Because he was clearly great. Like for people who liked him, right? He was clearly great because and their backing was these records. Like the dude has all these fucking records, right? So, he had to rush out and get that title, and now it's like everybody feels like, well, he's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I don't know how I feel about that, but like that's a little better contrast with Jim Miller. Like if Jim Miller
Yeah,
if Jim Miller took 2 more fights and somehow got the belt and retired with it, would that make him Hall of Fame to you then?
and that's an interesting thing because it's like when you're only for like football, right? If you don't play in the postseason, like even play in the postseason or get a couple playoff wins under your belt, then you better have been like the best fucking player in that position of all time. Or yeah, it's hard to really make the Hall of Fame just being like a regular season player. Like I think of the guy who comes to mind is like Tony Romo, right? Like Tony Romo was obviously, and especially in terms of wins, in terms of stats, in terms of just the way he played. He played excellent in the regular season every fucking year. That's why he's got great numbers, and he was on a good team. But every time they went to the playoffs, he went to shit. So it's like Tony Romo is not a Hall of Famer because he was never the best. He performed when it didn't matter, and then when it actually mattered, he didn't perform. So with Stafford, if he were to be on the Lions his whole career, it would be tough if they never ever made the playoffs because then what it really is you're just a good player on a really bad team. But I think he's actually shown why he could be a Hall of Famer because obviously the second he left Detroit, he went and won a Super Bowl. But I agree with you. That would be a really shitty position because you could obviously see the talent, but you don't see the accomplishments. So I get it.
Yeah, like it's just weird. And I just feel like Jim Miller is the type of guy that belongs in the Hall of Fame somewhere. He holds all these records and they're legit. Like you said, he never was number 1, number 5, number this. But he's number 1 for most submissions. And you can say it's longevity, but I mean, 18 submissions and 26 wins is a pretty high ratio of submissions. It's not like, oh man, it's just time. Like, nah, bro, it's not like he's squeaking it out by 1. He's got it by a couple. And like,
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up because here's one that kind of irks me, right? Like there was a list of um like most wins in the welterweight division. And Neil Magny was creeping up on GSP's record, right? And so now everyone's talking like, obviously they're not saying he's better than him, but it's like, how can you compare his 17 wins to GSP's 17 wins? Like they're not even comparable. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying like the stats are sometimes a little bit skewed, especially in terms of competition of who they're facing. But I can't disagree with you. 18 subs in the UFC is fucking amazing. That is an excellent stat.
Connor J.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I was actually in my thinking to myself right now about Neil Magny before Andrew brought it up. So, I was looking at his record last week when we were going over for the last pay per view. Dude, Neil Magny has fought like the who's who of the welterweight division. So I do feel like he's similar to Jim Miller because a lot of it is longevity and whatnot. So they're similar in that way. For some reason Jim Miller in my mind just ranks above him in terms of who should make the Hall of Fame. But I mean, Neil Magny has fought the who's who, and so, along with Jim Miller. I do think that Jim Miller back in the day, I remember he fought Nate Diaz when Nate finished him. I think it was in the second round or something. I think Jim Miller probably would have been classified in the top 10 at that time. I don't know if they even had rankings, the UFC, but Nate went on to go fight for the belt after that, I'm pretty sure. So I think Jim Miller has hovered around the top 10 before.
So, I'm sure that he has in his career. So I said that wrong. It is 12 submissions. He's number 2, but he's number 1 at submission attempts, 48 of them, and I know it wasn't close. So I got that wrong. I do want to backtrack. When I seen the page, man, I go back and forth. Very sorry, guys. So Neil Magny in the UFC is 22-10. Jim Miller in the UFC, and I know I have it right there, but because I got a couple of things mixed up here on my paperwork, let me just click it fucking open. Come on, man, just open. Got people waiting for me to talk and shit. So Jim Miller, I'm opening his Tapology. So Neil Magny is 29-11, but in the UFC he is 22-10, and Jim Miller is 37-17, but in the UFC he is 26-16. These are not men who went in and lost. These aren't dudes who, if these, I don't know how I feel about Neil Magny, but he's got a decorated resume of who he fought. He's given them a bunch of fights, 30 plus fucking fights. He's fought everybody they've asked him to, clearly, right? He didn't go Jim Miller isn't in the UFC. He's got 42 fights. He's not 22-20. He's not 24-18. He's, and you might go, oh, well, it's not far. It's 26-16, but that ratio, it matters. I mean, he's got a good win-loss ratio. Neil Magny's 22-10 in the UFC. Man, it's hard. When you look at guys like Anderson Silva, who everybody wants to throw up to the top, he had the belt, right? But Anderson smoked his career at the end. But no one will ever talk about that relevant to why he got in the Hall of Fame. So, the bad doesn't even count against Anderson Silva. The fact that you got beat the fuck up into oblivion because you just wouldn't stop when Dana White even told reporters, I wish he would stop, right? But you still made it. None of that matters. You're still Hall of Fame for what you did. But because Jim Miller and Neil Magny were not champions or top 5 guys, they're not in the running. I don't know. It's weird, man. I see both ways. I understand what Andrew was saying, and he argued both sides. But he said how he felt there at the end, and man, I really get it. That's a fucking hard argument, man. That's a really hard debate for me right there.
And that's what always, I'm sure in every sport, if you're one of those Hall of Fame voters or one of the guys where your vote counts, I'm sure that's one of the hardest jobs in the world because it's exactly what you're saying. It's there's all these different opinions on how you view it, right? And so I'm sure these guys sit there and just fucking ponder and just argue with themselves and argue with other people what they think. Yeah, man, I can only imagine how hard that job is.
Yeah, so I think if they did it by class as well, like that might be a good ad. I don't know what year he debuted in the UFC in 2008, right? So if you want to go look at all the guys that debuted in the UFC in 2008 and see if he makes the top 10 on that list and then put him in the class of 2008 Hall of Fame, like, cool, man. I think that's a really good way to get him in there. And it kind of lets us know, I guess, why he's there. He's not there as a pioneer. He's not there, that's the one I know offhand as a pioneer. He's not there as a contributor. I know that's another one. He's there as the class of 2008. Like, I feel like that's almost got to become inevitable if you're going to consider guys like this. There's a lot of guys that had crazy longevity and winning careers in the UFC. Yeah, I don't know. You figure they got 500 fighters on roster. They've had as many as 650, if I recall, at one point. They've had this many fighters for years. Like, if you think that 15% of the roster retires every year and we don't even realize it, you never really hear from them again. They sail off into the sunset. Fuck, man. The UFC's got probably 1,500 fighters or some shit to pick from. Actually, I could tell you that. I'm not going to sit here, but I have a way to look up every single UFC fighter that has ever existed on our website that I haven't put on the front board yet, but it doesn't give me a count. I'm going to add a count to that tomorrow so that way I can know how many are there. Um, but yeah, I mean, the list is so long. Yeah, I don't know. They've got to do something, though, because guys like Jim Miller, in my opinion, do deserve it. Do guys like Nate Diaz deserve it? Nope. But Jim Miller does.
But you got to realize though, right? Like every time you try to make an exception, right, with for someone that you maybe deep down feel like they don't get it. Every time you make these exceptions, you keep making it easier and easier. And then that means more people get in and more people get in, which means then it becomes watered down and it's not as important. You know what I mean? But in terms of the different like classes, I think that kind of makes sense because then you can at least like differentiate them. You know what I mean? That way people aren't sitting here comparing fucking Jim Miller to like, you know, like a real Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and so like for me, I guess it would be, I don't know what particular percentage you would put on it, so I don't want to open a debate about that, but like for me, there would have to be some debate about, well, it's got to be a percentage on the win loss. Like if you were, and I'm not at all being an asshole, I swear to God. Nate Diaz, right? If you look at Nate Diaz's career, if you count Strikeforce, WEC, and UFC, he's 20-12. If you count just the UFC, he's 16-11. Um, that's just not it. You didn't get a title. You didn't go on a run with it. You didn't do anything in a 16-11 career. I don't know what the percentage is that I need it to be, but I know that that is not it for me. And it's not an insult on Nate Diaz. He was just someone I could think of quick. But when I look at Jim Miller, 26-16, Neil Magny, 22-10, and like, you guys fought whoever they asked you to fight. These are not guys that you ever have heard, oh, Neil Magny wouldn't take that fight, really. He wouldn't take that fight. I mean, Magny fought some dudes historically where you're like, why the fuck is Neil Magny fighting this guy? Like, you knew. You're like, dude, why is Neil fighting this guy? But he took that fight. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what the exact criteria needs to be, but some guys really do deserve the rub. Um, they do. I don't know. I don't know what the exact criteria has to be, but I have a hard time ruling out certain people, to be fair. Okay, so I believe, it was that one, and that one.
At the loss.
Yeah, I didn't even try to start that. So that's all I got, guys. That's it. That's the space. I
It's
target.
9:30. I think it's a good time.
I said target two to 2.5 hours. That's exactly 2.5 hours. So, for me, that's it. Everybody here that's still here that's been listening for a while, even if you just joined, but I know all you guys been here for a while or been back. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for coming back every week. We're live on YouTube. We're getting some views and plays over there. We're going to be live on Rumble soon. We're going to open up a couple of streaming services. Man, if we get 10, 20, 30, 40 people, we get 40. This space hits 30 to 50 listens a week on YouTube. If we can do that 3, 4, 5 streams, we start to grow. So, hey, we really appreciate you guys coming here. We feel like the open mic. And not everybody can make it every week. We just feel like the switch up in conversation makes this shit awesome. CapMMA.com. It's a great place to get odds. Dana White it. Wait till you see what we got coming in the next few weeks. Yeah, that's what I got for that. Space again on Friday at 10. There's no fight card, so I don't know exactly what the topics or previews will be, and then I think we're skipping Sunday. So, yeah, we'll put it together. That's all I got. Andrew, you got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just have one thing. I don't know if you guys heard. I don't know if you guys know, but the Queen is now coming to the UFC. Kayla Harrison will be taking on Holly Holm at UFC 300. So I'm super stoked for that. Yeah, other than that, I appreciate you guys for coming out tonight. Until next time.
So your closing was to announce a fight that we already announced again, so that you could just talk about Kayla Harrison.
I mean, you already plugged everything, so yeah.
Oh, you know what I did put at the bottom here, and I'm so pissed about it. The unbreakable Tatiana Suarez. The trailer is officially on YouTube. Type it in. The I believe it debuts January 31st. I didn't even know about that. I've been doing a Tatiana thread. I thought I was going to release it today, and then I got a little better with the editor, so we'll see how it goes. So tomorrow I'm actually dropping a short 2-minute video of all of Tatiana's fights on Tough. And then I'll be threading each fight with like no music and a 30-second recap in the thread. And then I'll probably come back with all of Tatiana's fights sometime in the next month or so. So we're going to start doing that for a few fighters. Tatiana was one I just picked. After this, though, I'm probably doing Miranda Maverick. She comes in here. She's been here. I probably should have done her first, and I'm a dick for not. But I just kind of accidentally started doing the Tatiana one. So probably Miranda Maverick next. That's all I got, boys. Thank you all for coming. Keep coming back.
Go to YouTube, guys. CapMA.com. Don't
What's
forget to check out the
Rumble?
website, odd tracker, parlay calculator. It's all there. Get your resources,
Hit the
cap your fights. But go to YouTube, man. Check it out. It's the best listening experience for replays. And on top of that, we got some other things going on over there. So check out the TikToks, check out the videos, check us out on YouTube, check out the website. I appreciate you guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
hit the butt.